Greetings, and welcome to House of R, a Ringerverse podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. I'm Mallory Rubin. Joining me today, her designs for our future did not include my mother.
No. Though I'd actually love to include your mother in my designs for our future.
If we're at Harrenhal,
Yeah,
we might need to make some adjustments.
fair.
It's Joanna Robinson.
It's me.
It's you, my favorite witch of Harrenhal or anywhere.
I'm your favorite
In your witchy
witch?
workshop? Of course you are. Who else would even be in contention?
Wow,
Come
there's
on.
so many witches.
Not to me.
Number one witch?
Yeah. It's you, number one. Agatha, number two. I'll get back to you on the rest.
Great.
We are here not only to talk about witchy stuff as always, but to dive deep into the penultimate episode, somehow already the penultimate episode of House of the Dragon Season 3. Crazy. Where is the season gone? Where is the year gone? Where are our lives going? It's something to think about. We're going to get to all of that, including our existential dread, right after this. Programming reminders. Busy times. Later this week,
Yeah.
the Odyssey mailbag and the complete, definitive, etched in stone, embedded in amber,
change our minds.
Christopher Nolan movie rankings. We've already recorded that pod, so we know for sure it's coming.
Yep, we did already do it, and we have surprises
Oh, yeah.
on both of our lists, I would say. Maybe
Yeah.
one of them more than the other, but
It was
there
fun.
are surprises in those
Oh,
lists.
yeah. No question.
That doesn't mean we're not doing an Oppenheimer podcast. It just
No.
means we didn't want to wait for the Oppenheimer podcast.
Exactly. It'll happen at some point. When? Who the fuck knows? We'll find out together. Guess what? That's not it. We're also going to continue our House of the Dragon covers. Wouldn't it be weird if we stopped?
This is the last one. We're never talking about Thrones again. A decade of cramming information in our heads, all for naught. It's over.
Yeah. What are we pivoting to?
Oh, great question. Sports. It's sports time for me.
Sports Joe. We will, of course.
I heard there was an Orioles trade that we
Oh
should
my
be
God.
concerned about.
There were a number of Orioles trades. A number. Talk to Thrones. Live. Legit live. We are going to be
Actual
here
live.
streaming live, technology permitting,
That's Sunday night energy.
with CR.
Right after the episode, we've heard it's a little longer than an hour. So,
Right.
like, whenever the episode ends,
Yes.
that's when our live stream will start, essentially. Give or take a few minutes.
Yeah.
you know?
Will we leave a few minutes for the inside the episode? I don't know. We actually haven't decided. Boot it up in case we don't.
Be there. But yeah, we have
We're
committed
excited.
to be here live on Sunday. I love a live Sunday night energy. Really weird stuff happens.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, we will be looking at your comments.
That's right.
And hopefully being able to like answer questions.
That's right.
If we can get our sort of
Someone will be
our
looking at them.
jets scrambled and our wits assembled, we will answer some live questions on the pod.
Yeah, hit up the chat. That's going to be fun. You can watch live on the Ringerverse YouTube channel, of course, and then the pod will be where you always find it if you're not watching live. So look for that as well.
Correct.
And then, of course, we will have the deep dive on the finale next week, probably Tuesday evening, but, you know, we'll have it for you when it's ready to be delivered to you. And we're hoping to have a couple other finale treats next week, at least one. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll be covering the finale in full.
We
That's
don't
a
wanna
promise
promise
from us
it
to you.
Until it's recorded.
No specific promises, just the promise of coverage
Correct.
and passion and presence, our hearts and our minds, and our
souls,
takes.
our bodies.
To the extent that I have anything left to offer
You've
on
broken
that
your
front,
body
yeah.
in service for content. We all know that to be true.
I did get a couple texts from my dad this week. It's like, I've been checking in on the pod. Seems like you're starting a lot of them by saying that you're broken and don't feel well. Everything okay? It's like, I'm doing great.
Oh, is that why we made
Great.
progress on the doctor front? It wasn't me. It was your dad.
No,
texting you?
actually, it was you. It was mostly you.
Thanks.
Joanna.
Yeah.
After that, we'll be in Lantern season.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to have some fun Oriole stuff, other things as well. How can everybody follow along?
Well, what if they just subscribe to the pod
Great.
on their pod catcher of choice?
Do it.
What if they followed us on social at House of R Pod?
Mm-hmm.
And what if they emailed us?
Great.
hobbitsanddragons@gmail.com. They could also watch
Fantastic.
us on YouTube.
Yeah.
on Spotify.
That's right. Full video episodes. Incredible.
Wow.
Incredible stuff.
What a time to be alive. Couple spoiler warning, right?
Spoiler warning. Same as always. You know the drill by now.
All of Thrones ever.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this is your first episode and you don't know the drill. If it happened in this episode or anything in Game of Thrones ever, it could come up.
On the table.
Anything in the future of Fire and Blood will be in a separate spoiler section at the end of the pod. We'll warn you before that starts. Book context throughout as we go, but only at the very end in a separate section with a scary warning from Carlos.
With a klaxon sound letting you know it's coming.
Only then will we talk about the future.
All right, two quick emails.
Hit us.
Sky wants non like this episode specific emails. Sky wants to know, how do you feel about is it Adley Rushman?
It's Adley Rutschman.
Rutschman.
Yeah, Rutschman. Thanks for asking.
How do you feel about the trade to Boston? Not great?
You know, here's the truth.
Adley is a Baltimore Oriole.
He was until yesterday.
Was a Baltimore Oriole.
Franchise catcher, franchise cornerstone, #1 pick overall. A 1-1, #1 pick in the draft.
I have heard his name from you many times.
Yes, you have. You've seen him play in person.
Didn't remember how to pronounce it, but I have heard it.
Here's the truth. We don't have time to get into all of my thoughts and feelings on this today. I will say I am in a surprisingly measured place. I was thinking back to my reaction when the Orioles traded Manny Machado, which you can read about on theringer.com and see videos of, where I had what can only be described as a historic, apocalyptic meltdown about the Orioles trading one of the best players of this generation. And all of those feelings I still honestly hold to this day.
Like Ormond hacking a table to bits with a Valyrian steel sword?
This was at Sunset Gower in the old office days pre-COVID, and I put on my Oriole batting helmet and sat on my couch and was gripping a Manny Machado plushie that I had, and Chris came in and took pictures. And then our former colleague Pat filmed me talking about it, and it was just so pathetic and sad. And then I was like, I'm going to blog. And I blogged. That's how you know it was a while ago.
You blogged through
it?
You blogged through it?
I won't be doing that this time. Maybe I'll post some longer thoughts on Instagram. It's an incredibly sad and intense. Yeah, exactly. It's a sad and intense thing for all Oriole fans because Adley is the cornerstone of the rebuild.
I've always said that.
It's an of two minds thing, and the two wolves where it's the return that they got for him is, as far as I can tell, from an astonishing amount of mainlining draft and prospect scouting reports last night. Epic. And if you're not going to be able to extend a player, getting the return that they got from the Red Sox is a better place than they've been before with deals of this caliber. However, what Adley represented to Orioles fans in terms of this new era, this symbol of hope, it's just really sad to trade him in the division to the Red Sox. That is the second they signed Basayo. Remember when I said I wasn't going to talk for a while? The second they signed Basayo, my guy Sammy Baseball, to an extension, I was like, Adley's. They know they're not keeping Adley. So I have been preparing for this for a long time in a way that was.
You read the tea leaves.
Helpful for my reaction, but it's just boy,
okay,
tough one.
Who do you think?
I still believe.
Who do you think is in a better mental health space right now? You or George R. R. Martin? George blogged recently.
Sweet George, yeah.
He's been having a tough time. So we just wanted to say we read George's post. We support him always.
Yeah.
We heard recently that he might be working on some Dunk and Egg stories, and that's exactly what we want him to do. I feel like it will be a nice booster. But also, if he just wants to rest and relax, the man is in his late 70s.
Do your thing, George.
Just live his life.
You have given us so many gifts.
So much.
And we are grateful. And we believe in you. And this made me sad. I feel very sad for George. And I genuinely can't imagine. We've been talking about this for years and years and years. But this level of pressure and expectation, and every single time there's any conversation, somebody asking you, where is this thing that we're waiting for? It just must be it just must be so hard.
It's really, really
I hope he's okay. I really do.
I think he's going to Worldcon, which is happening.
George likes Worldcon
here quite soon.
Never been.
They're doing a Thrones meetup. Let's look into it.
Okay,
intriguing. That's it. That's all I had to say.
Thanks for everything, Adley. You were a great Oriole. I'll miss you.
Thanks, George, for all the content.
Gunnar, you're still there. Let's sign a long-term extension.
Henderson.
World Series next year. Henderson, look at you. Yeah, Sports Joe. Oh, my God.
Opening snapshot?
Let's do it. Those sword sounds. Okay. Season 3, episode 7, Sheesh. The Dragon in Winter. 64 minutes. Most of these episodes this season, I think other than episode 3, have been just a few minutes north of 60. Once again, this episode, like episode 5, directed by Nina Lopez Corrado. And also like episode 5, Philippa Goslett is one of the writers on this episode, but Zenzele Price is also a writer on this episode. First of the season. That's the crew. Joanna, if anyone did not watch Talk the Throne. So honestly, even though it was probably apparent how we felt about the episode, but we didn't do our usual, like, what was your favorite thing? Yeah. What did we think at the beginning? So, hot off the presses, breaking news. Reveal right now your take.
What did I think of the episode?
What did you think of The Dragon in Winter, the penultimate episode of season 3 of House of the Dragon?
We've come to find with House of the Dragon is that, unlike our expectations, especially
you did that a little bit in the Come to Die for the Dragon Queen voice.
Come to die.
You did a little bit.
We've come to find. What we've come to find.
It just kind of, it emerged.
We all have a bit of Roddy the Ruin inside of us. What we've come to find about the 8-episode seasons of House of the Dragon, and actually even the finale of last season, is like, this is very much we're putting pieces in place sort of episode.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it. Spectacular dragon action, like undeniable spectacular, not just like, the aerial battles that we've gotten before or like it's the dead of night. We're like talking bright sunlit of day in a field on the ground dragon action.
That's right.
And it looked amazing. Our pal Paula Fairfield on the sound design, incredible work from the 4 different dragons. So, we got to see Dreamfire, Sunfire, no longer long in the dying, now long in the living. So,
use his proper name. Sweet Sunfire.
War Criminal Sunfire. War Criminal
Sweet,
Sunfire.
Darling
Show us
Sunfire.
your Toby.
Bobby.
So I liked it. It was not my favorite of the season, but I quite liked the episode.
I thought this was really quite an effective penultimate episode and finale setup. And it felt to me like while we were doing a lot of the moving the pieces on the board to position us for a finale, I thought it did that in a confident way that felt more akin to episodes in the middle of this season before the kind of dip of episode 6. And certain sequences and character settings in this episode, like after the frustration of 6, it felt like we had forward momentum in a way that felt really important. So I had quite a good time watching this episode. I thought there were some really memorable and indelible House of the Dragon sequences. The 4 dragon ground fight, which I can't wait to talk about. All of Helena's dreams, Aegon and Sweet Sunfire, incredible stuff. Ulf and Ormond, a moment that like we've been building toward methodically but quite expertly all season. And then the pairing inside of this episode of like really quiet, intimate character moments of conversation, say, like the one between
Rhaenyra and Mysaria's pelvis.
That one? Yeah. Vag cam. We were like really at the pubic level on that one.
I'm about to use a word I don't usually use, but I'm about to use a word just FYI to people.
Are you going to say cunt or pussy?
It's the C word. And I'm just quoting a tweet I saw.
Okay.
Where it's the shot of Rhaenyra just like right next to Mysaria's nethers, right?
Yeah.
And it just says like, hey, cunt GPT. Am I a good ruler?
Wow. Oh my God. Incredible. I ask once again, should I return to Twitter?
No, just have me. I think I'll just like feed the creme de la creme to you. No, come on. Anyway.
God.
You were saying some nice intimate moments.
GPT is hysterical. Have you sent that to Chris? Can't wait for his takes. That's amazing.
I don't like.
Boy, no, you only send those to me.
Yes,
they're private. They're just for us and all of our bad baby listeners.
Chris blushes like a daffodil when you use that kind of language around him.
If anyone checked the tape, Chris has said cunt on Talk the Thrones more than either of us. So he's always only quoting the canon.
Yeah.
Just as you are. I can't make that claim.
By the canon, I mean a tweet I read. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, isn't Twitter canon? Sadly, lamentably, for our time. I was going to mention, Damon and Rhaenyra with Alinda there observing. So,
Alinda is a third.
Boy, and then the Harrenhal stuff in this episode was real, like, House of the Dragon freaky shit in
Mommy
a way
Bull.
that I loved. Mommy Bull. Has the merch emerged for Mommy Bull?
I haven't seen anything. Tough.
Unbelievable.
Tough
What
to
are we
know it.
doing? Bard Corner?
Okay.
Drastic tonal shift?
I don't know.
Not really, actually.
You know what? Shakespeare loves
Yeah.
a C word joke. Okay.
That's right.
Listen.
Back to saying C word.
Coward.
Craven. What were all the synonyms we came up last week for?
Spittle. All right. So, this episode's called Dragon in Winter.
Mm-hmm.
And because I love life, I decided to rewatch Lion in Winter. This is obviously a reference to Lion in Winter, which is a play that was made into a fantastic film and also to a TV movie in the 2000s. But the film with Katharine Hepburn, Peter O'Toole, a very young and handsome Timothy Dalton, and Anthony Hopkins, among other people, is about a royal family who come together and squabble over succession. A royal family divided over who should take the throne. Should it be King Richard the Lionheart? You might have heard of him. Should it be King John? You might have heard of them, of Robin Hood fame. These are the guys. These are the sons in question. And also, this generation is just, I think, one generation removed from the anarchy, which was another civil war over the throne, which was the actual real life historical inspiration for George R. R. Martin to write Dance of the Dragons. That's based on the anarchy. But it's so funny because one of our listeners wrote in with a line from this movie, and I had already written it down because I had never thought of it as like a Thrones connection. But there's this line in The Lion in the Winter where Richard the Lionheart, you might have heard of him, says he's here, he'll get, and played by Anthony Hopkins, he's here, he'll get no satisfaction out of me, he isn't going to see me beg. And then Geoffrey, his brother that no one's heard of because he died, my you chivalric fool, as if the way one fell down mattered. And Richard says, when the fall is all there is, it matters. So I was like, the climb is all
there is.
The fall, the fall is all, the climb is all. I was like, surely this is an inspo. So I did reach out to our pal, Brian Cogman, who wrote on Game of Thrones, a producer on Game of Thrones. And I was like, hey, man, how much was The Lion in the Winter like top of mind for you all when you were writing that? And he was like, for me, it was a huge inspiration. He's like, the guys wrote that. He's like, I didn't write that episode. So like, I don't know if that was like, I think the three options he gave was like a conscious steal, an unconscious steal, or nothing whatsoever to do with it. And like, these are common things that like, Lion in Winter is a beloved classic film with beautiful writing that I'm sure Dan and Dave have seen, et cetera, et cetera. So it might just like be in their mind or whatever. But anyway, I just thought that was like a fun Thronesy connection to mention.
Incredible stuff. Do you think more people would be familiar with Joffrey if Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Joffrey, if they called him Joffrey. If Larys had said, my duty now is to ensure that all of your acts. I can't wait to talk about your guy, Larys.
Larys, not
what a shameful episode for your guy, Larys Strong.
Not a source in House of the Dragon. He doesn't want to die for the rapist King Aegon, and that's okay. All right.
What about Sweet Sunfire? He wasn't around for that. Would have changed his tune, maybe.
This is also from me here in Bard Corner.
Yeah.
It's from Henry IV, Part 1.
It is incredible that you wrote in the outline me and then also me.
Right next to a typo. Of course it's me. Henry IV, Part 1. Hotspur, one of the best names for a character or a person ever.
Yeah. Are you going to adopt Tottenham Hotspur as your Premier League team?
No, but I'll just
Given
go
your
by
enthusiasm
Hotspur.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, so Hotspur's dying.
Yes.
Prince Hal has killed him. The two of them are one of them's dying and the other one's like still alive because he becomes King Henry. Spoiler. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I could prophesy, but that the earthly and cold hand of death lies on my tongue. No, Percy. So this is Hotspur dying, talking to himself in the third person. Legendary. No, Percy, thou art dust and food for, and then he goes, and then he dies, and food for, and then Prince Henry says, for worms, brave Percy, fare thee well, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk, when that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom for it was too small a bound, but now 2 paces of the vilest earth is room enough. So I was thinking about this when multiple characters talk about returning to the dust inside of this episode. So I always think about that, like food for worms.
Yes.
And like, no, Percy, thou art dust. I always think about and food for, and then he dies. And then the person who kills him, who like has this like respect for him, is like food for worms. And also, you used to want a massive kingdom, and now you're just a patch of ground. That's all you are. All right, I'm just going to zoom through the rest of Bard Corner because I've taken up too much time.
Okay.
Aiden from Richard III.
Oh, so lies on my tongue. You weren't going to make a connection to Rhaenyra and Mysaria.
Nope. Okay. But this is about Rhaenyra and Mysaria. From Aiden, Richard III. Poor painted queen, why strewest thou sugar on that bottled spider, whose deadly web ensnareth thee about? Fool, fool, thou wettest a knife to kill thyself.
Sheesh.
She strew her sugar for a spider, indeed. Rhaenyra and Mysaria. Okay. I think strew sugar is like a really nice euphemism for sexual congress. Okay, John said he was thinking about Claudius when Hamlet's like, things seem really wild and crazy here. I'm going to go back to Wittenberg and study philosophy. And Claudius is like, no, I'd rather have you here, quote, in the cheer and comfort of our eye. He's like, I want my eye on you. And our listener was like, that's very Rhaenyra and Helaena. Like, why don't you just sit here and do your needlepoint and I will just come and interrogate you about your dreams. Sounds like a great plan. Okay. And then William wrote into Cite Macbeth, which is, I think, been the highest, the most cited of the plays in this. Macbeth talking about the weird sisters, the 3 witches of Macbeth who can sort of give him these cryptic prophecies, right?
Yes.
He says, I will tomorrow, and betimes I will, to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, and for now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. So to find out from the weird sisters what's going on, and this is very Rhaenyra interrogating Helaena, and as William, our listener, pointed out, when Macbeth reaches the witches, he keeps imploring, answer me, tell me. And when the answers aren't clear enough, he insists, but one word more, my heart throbs to know one thing, tell me, I will be satisfied, deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you, let me know. So, Rhaenyra being compared to Claudius and Macbeth, I would say...
Feels right.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great for our girl, Rhaenyra.
Worrying.
And that's it for Bard and Classics Corner.
Wonderful stuff. Delightful.
I love our listeners.
Shout out to the bad babies.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bard. You think he'd ever want to come on the pod?
I was about to say, do you think Shakespeare would listen to our podcast? No. He would be a Ringer listener, but it wouldn't be our podcast.
More of a CR head.
He would Ringer fantasy football.
Oh.
He was a populist. He was like a man of the people.
He would definitely have had some takes on Heifetz talking about beach ham recently. The fridge ham. I pull some and take it to the beach.
I saw the Instagram.
Hard to miss.
I did see it.
We do important work here, and we get to do it together.
I think Shakespeare would love to know more about beef ham. Should we talk about this episode of television? What
Let's
do you think?
do it. Let's head to the bowels of a pleasure den for the deep dive. Christ.
Beach ham. Beach ham.
Beach ham. We're not lingering on the opening credits, but just a note, Butcher's Ball is there, and Kristen's face looked a little bit better here than in the prosthetic form later.
Leading into the 7-pointed star sort of formation.
Pretty cool.
Kind of looked, because the way it's featured, it shows us the dead around him before it shows us him. And they're
the
this
flipping
circle
was cool
around him. Did this feel more like the kind of glorious death that he was asking for, enshrined in beautiful tapestry?
Frankly, he shouldn't have made the tapestry. No songs.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
No songs.
Not just like a tapestry, but like a symbolic sort of like spread of the 7-pointed star around him.
Let's kick him out and get Torrin Manderly back there. The real contributors.
Where's Tylan on the tapestry? That's my question.
Man. I mean, let's get him in there in the sweaty undershirt.
I mean, I guess who the person we should be taking our complaints to is Helaena, because there is this, enduring strong theory that Helaena is the weaver of the tapestry, the needle pointer herself.
I feel like Helaena is going through enough and I'll withhold my complaints rather than sending them to her.
Okay. Leave George alone. Leave Helaena alone.
She's got to work through it with Rhaenyra right now. And let's get to it. Let's start there. We're going to cluster our deep dive today by
character set.
And we're going to start with a lot of the Rhaenyra-centric or Rhaenyra-adjacent plot lines. And then we will spend a pretty enjoyable back half of the deep dive on Team Green, who really delivered this week. Boy, what a time to be a fan of Team Green. As you declared yourself publicly on Talk of Thrones.
I picked specific greenies.
They are incredibly entertaining to watch. There's no question.
It's not a green blanket. It's specific greenos. And it's Darren and Gwaine.
I also love Darren and Gwaine.
Did you see the way that Gwaine dismounted from his horse?
What was striking about it? I don't know if anything stood out to me.
You need to be on Twitter. He did a high kick. Like, it's, instead of just sort of like the back leg around, he did a high kick over his horse's head.
Yeah. And there were memes, but not on Instagram?
I mean, just like a real sort of can dancer move. A real, like, I've been doing hot yoga, goat yoga, all the yoga. I can bend my leg this way. And he said, gentlemen of Tumbleton, take note. This is what I can do.
Incredible stuff. Great energy today.
Okay.
I love it. Really, truly. Helaena the Dreamer. We're going to talk in a second about what Helaena says to Rhaenyra, the warning she issues, and also the behavior that we see from Rhaenyra. But let's start just with the dreams, the idea of dragon dreams and the double dreams that we get, because this was such an exciting thing for House of the Dragon viewers and for Thrones fans. We're going to hit them both back to back here, even though they were spaced across the episode. Dream number 1, Joe. Red Keep courtyard, empty. No other people. Rhaenyra's banners visible. And Helaena is stroking, she will describe this as a gray mare.
Looks pretty.
You could say pale horse.
Looks pretty white.
You could say pale horse, I think.
Pale horse, pale rider.
Indeed. The gates open. The light bathes her face. She looks out. Across this stream, and then what we will see later, we talked about this already on Sunday, but this interesting melding of the prospect of escape with the confinement and portrait of doom. Very effective, the way that was captured. Dream 2. Helaena in childbirth, the babe immediately given to a soldier. We know what that means. We know what that is telling us. And then...
I think that's interesting. You said this on Talk of the Thrones.
Yeah.
You feel like this conclusively means that's a male heir. Don't you feel like any baby would be taken from her?
I think the fact that would also be the damning takeaway of just no matter what, there's no future for the kid, and that's where this has come to. That her dreams are telling her the fate of the child is sealed. If the instantaneous nature of handmaid looks and then hands it to the soldier means male heir, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
What we saw next was just honestly so mesmerizing. We need to see it. We need to see it. This might be record timing in the deep dive for a clip, but Carlos...
Well, I don't know. We're an hour into the episode.
Not in the pod, just in the deep dive section. Yes.
So we have so many thoughts.
Yes.
Plenty of which we have to confine to the spoiler section. This is always the case when we go dream spelunking on a Thrones property. We got to keep a lot of it for the spoiler section.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting. We were talking about sort of what it means to see Helaena on Dragonback.
Yes.
There.
Darling Dreamfire, incredible design.
Beautiful Dreamy. Dreamy has not been to war. So sweet, beautiful, darling Dreamy. A detail that I love that Ashay on the History of Westeros podcast pointed out is that her outfit there is actually quite similar to what Rhaenyra wore in the Hunt episode in season 1. This sort of like short sleeve with the long contrasting color underneath. And then a lot of people have pointed out that they feel like this is supposed to allude to sort of Rhaenys and Melis and sort of
The most infamous moment in the history of the show.
but something that Helaena would have witnessed. So
Beast beneath the boards.
Correct. What if I
Came up a
myself
lot.
am the beast beneath the boards?
Yes.
Helaena.
I think that the way that Helaena across the series has talked about violence, not only with beasts, no beast shall be harmed, but with the refusal. You know, and it's interesting in this exact sequence when Rhaenyra, not the second dream, but the first dream, when Rhaenyra is there kind of like looming over Helaena as she wakes. Very weird and very creepy.
Right, yeah.
A lot of watching people sleep this season. And Rhaenyra asks, did Aemond ask you to fly with him? My whole council has been buzzing about it, speculating, wondering, can you put the rumors to rest? We recall that one of the things that Helaena said in response to Aemond's play, Alicent was there, in one of the two conversations, the gentlest among us, but Helaena was like, I don't want to burn anyone. So there's something so shocking about seeing Helaena say Dracarys and Dreamfire emit that fire, knowing how Helaena feels about an act like that. It was just such an effective visual. Dreamfire looked so cool. The dragons all look sick. Dreamfire was like, I gasped.
I think that's my favorite dragon
full from the front.
design is Dreamfire.
Who's last on your list?
Wow. I simply wouldn't eat my friend if we were.
You've learned. You've learned. Took you a few years. Did you say you would start with the tongue?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
You did. You're the best.
This is a Yellow Jackets pod reference.
When's the next season of that?
Who knows?
God. Oh, boy. Dragon Pit also I was just thinking of Yellow Jackets and you saying you need to start by eating the tongue and thinking about cannibalism, and I got lost in memories of our time together. Now we're back, rooted in this dream. Dracarys in the Dragon Pit, people running in. Even just being back in the Dragon Pit this episode, like rooting us in King's Landing when Rhaenyra flies back, abandoning Syrax to her wounds, just reminding us that we're in King's Landing. This is like,
what do you think was worse?
Where the dragons are.
Her
we're not in the mountain.
Her
anymore.
saying put Rhaena in a room somewhere, or her not tending to Syrax at all after Syrax got savage.
You know my answer to this.
It's Syrax.
Of course.
The dragon's supposed to be an extension of yourself.
Yeah,
Rhaenyra
which I guess you could say is a potent commentary.
Hopping off her hobbled dragon and just without a backward glance.
Check in. How about just a soothing, it'll be okay, Bubby?
Give her some extra snacks.
A churro.
A salve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Check in with the Dragon Keeper, something. Didn't like that.
It wasn't great.
Next part of this dream, the farm. Gotta say this looked great until winter came. Looked really lovely until winter came.
I don't know. Winter on the farm seems kind of cozy.
A winter snowflake, sure. Apocalyptic White Walker winter in very recognizable misty fog form moving to us. Gonna pass on that. The chickens, Joanna.
Yeah.
This is what we know Helaena wants, just to raise chickens, right?
Did you interpret that as Jaehaera and the unborn babe, or Jaehaera and Jaehaerys?
That was what, I think you could read either, but I thought those children, let me say this, I don't have kids, not an expert. They looked like similar ages to me. Maybe they would have matched their hair a little bit more if they were definitely trying to show us that they were twins.
To me, I thought it was supposed to be the younger one, but
it felt to me like the baby would be like, I don't know. I guess if it's in the future. Yeah. I thought maybe this was the alternate history where Jaehaerys hadn't been killed.
Okay.
But maybe it's not.
I'm fine with either.
Yeah.
Let all the kids live. That's my hot take.
That would be great. You hear that, blood and cheese? We've got notes. We've got feedback. Joanna, last week, you, a person who has corrective lenses, pointed out to me, a person who is increasingly unable to see, that there had been some snowflakes visible.
Listeners had to point it out to me. I did not see it myself the first time.
I was like, were there? So some snowflakes last week. Winter of the seasonal variety coming here before the winter of prophecy in the White Walker form. The very cool visual of blotting out the sun, the eclipse.
Yeah.
That was all just really neat. We should recall that Daemon's put my hand into the weirwood tree, sappy bloody goo vision at the end of season 2, which Helaena participated in a fascinating way. Also included the apocalyptic winter
Would
and
you
White
say
Walkers.
winter is coming across all kinds of dreams?
I would say that, given that Aegon decided to call his real branding expert, call his dream, which is defined the story.
Song of Ice and Fire.
The Song of Ice and Fire.
Right. And George R. Martin's like, Chris did ask us, because is actual physical winter coming to Westeros? Yes. That 'tis the season for winter to come. The Hallmark movies are going to start running Christmas-themed movies in Westeros. But Chris is like, does that mean the White Walkers are coming with?
Right.
And we did get an email from someone being like, so does Chris think that every time it's winter in Westeros, the ice zombies come? And just to clarify.
We should rewatch the beginning of Game of Thrones with Chris.
Just to clarify. No.
Correct.
That just happened specifically in terms of close to the wall and eventually, spoiler, south of the wall. That was a very specific what happened in Game of Thrones incident. Everyone's like, what the fuck are these fucking things?
That's right. That's right. The others.
It wasn't like, oh, winter is coming, zombie time,
What if every time it snowed?
Yeah, that's the question.
That would be wild.
Zombie time.
Chris, there's just no one like him.
Very special.
Speaking of the like or not like, dragon dreams, we should just say, are not the same as three-eyed raven visions or a Harrenhal vision or a House of the Undying vision or a Woods Witch prophecy, but they're all of a piece and in the brew for George of what does my character see in prophetic form and then do with that information?
I mean, I guess I will say the Thrones
varietals.
The Thrones TV version of Raven, three-eyed raven dream or visions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also fairly sort of
very, very, very of a piece.
Quick snapshotty esoteric. You know what I mean?
Oh, no question.
Though
this is going to evoke Bran's
but this is
visions
more. Helena's having more impressionistic dreams.
That's right. And I was thinking back to what
more like English majors come analyze what this white horse means here.
That's right, and then blog about it.
Blog through it
on the London Review of Books. I was thinking back to what Condell was saying.
Abysmal.
At the end of. Look at us making jokes about a podcast people haven't heard yet.
Well, it's a thing that exists.
It's true. After the season 2 finale, because of Daemon's Harrenhal vision and Helena's dream walking access to that.
So cool.
Which was awesome. And I think this was on the official pod after the season 2 finale. He said, and he was talking in general about how Helaena there was a kind of increasing clarity to what she was seeing, but it was still very abstract and impressionistic. But saying this is the point when the world is most rich with dragons and it's very heightened. So this idea, which kind of connects thematically to what Helaena says to Rhaenyra, which we'll talk about shortly, about the connection between the dragons and this magic, there's a heightening there, but it is also true that the Targaryen dragon dreamers, the specific slice of prophetic Westerosi story, Targaryen dragon dreamers, that there were, and there will be in the future of the story, Targaryen dragon dreamers, some of which we won't name, because we're going to cover that stuff in other shows, when the dragons weren't around anymore. Well, so there's an amplifying element.
We can say, for example, Darren.
Yes, who we had a blast talking about.
We met in Dunk and Egg this last season. And, so if you watched Dunk and Egg, you met Darren the Dreamer and how fucked up he was about the dragon dreams that he had. But yeah, there are no dragons in the time of Dunk and Egg.
Right.
So,
right. So
it's not dragon dependent, but it's what we've talked about in terms of the hinges of the world or the place where the veil is thin or all this sort of stuff like that. Or yeah. Magic is coming back to Westeros is the whole theme of Game of Thrones, right? Yes. So the reason that the ice zombies get so free and the reason why Melisandre's fire magic and the reason, is the dragons are born. Magic is returning. So, but this is an era of magic. And that makes me really excited for what the fuck Alys can do.
I know, same. I always love to think about.
Juiced up.
Boy, is she. I always love to think about that moment with Luwin and Bran talking about magic being forgotten, and then to contrast that with what we as viewers or as readers are witnessing rising with Dany. Thought I'd read this passage on the Dany dragon dream front, because this is a dreamer as dragon magic is working back into the world, and so the connection there kind of reinforces what we're talking about. This is from a Game of Thrones Have you heard of it, lads? I've always loved this passage. Yet when she slept that night, she dreamt the dragon dream again. Oh, that gives me a chill. These books are great. Viserys was not in it this time. Other Viserys. Always comes back to a Viserys. There was only her and the dragon. Its scales were black as night, wet and slick with blood. Her blood, Dany sensed. Its eyes were pools of molten magma. And when it opened its mouth, the flame came roaring out in a hot jet. She could hear it singing to her. She opened her arms to the fire, embraced it, let it swallow her whole, let it cleanse her and temper her and scour her clean. She could feel her flesh sear and blacken and slough away, could feel her blood boil and turn to steam, and yet there was no pain. She felt strong and new and fierce, and the next day, strangely, she did not seem to hurt quite so much. George, you rule.
Incredible writing.
Oh my God, so good.
I would say,
you read that for the first time? It's like,
I would say Helaena not quite so, emboldened by her dreams.
Yeah, she's like,
More
let me get my
harried and
sketchbook,
harassed.
work through it.
Let me get my needlepoint out.
Maybe she's feeling harried and harassed in part because Rhaenyra is watching her sleep. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, it's tough.
Boy. Okay, so there's the warning that Helaena issues. Let's talk about that, and then we'll hit right after that kind of just the demeanor that Rhaenyra is exhibiting in the sequence and the evolution across the scene.
I just want someone to be good at something.
Is anyone good at
Ormond's
anything?
good at seducing Ulf. That happened. Good job.
Wonderful ale. A wonderful ale. Yeah.
Who else is good at anything? Lady Jane in the Vale seems pretty good at whatever.
She's thriving.
Mysaria seduces the queen. Great job, but seems like a bad mistress of whispers, honestly. Because,
sloppy work from Mysaria this
what
episode.
the fuck does she know about what's going on in, Flea Bottom, et cetera, et cetera. So
is Sylvie good at stuff?
We'll find out. But the point is, Rhaenyra, very bad at talking to her literal sister in a way that doesn't, I don't know. Helaena looked annoyed and then also like she was pitying Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra was so bad at it, right?
Well, and also the pity of you're not ready to accept what is happening to you. You can't
Helena's
say it out loud.
Didn't you watch the trailer for this season? Alicent said, you're going to do things you didn't dream you would ever do.
On the family member front, did you find, obviously the premise of the Dance of the Dragons, to be clear, is one we understand. This is a Targaryen civil war, a family civil war. But I just found there was something so intentionally and effectively jarring about our father and sister and using the language of family to really reinforce how estranged these people are from each other. I thought it was very...
You know who else should have considered it? Adam and Bela. When they're talking about the nuptials in the future of the fam. Maybe.
Oh, you've heard from your brother?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, but more I, your uncle, would love to marry you. But
they all
my
love
brother,
incest.
your other uncle.
Listen.
Thruples would have saved the kingdom. That's how I feel about it.
So you have some feedback on incest, but you would like the brothers to be in the thruple.
That doesn't have to be how a thruple works.
Okay,
you have a hinged person in a thruple.
Maybe that's where this will go. Stay tuned for the book spoiler section to find out. Oh, God. I liked this.
It's a hinge.
Hinge. Wonderful stuff. Helaena says that she used to love to fly, but now it's too much. We understand why, based on what we've witnessed. And then Rhaenyra's like, yeah, bond. Okay, great. I can work with this. Let's bond.
Yeah,
Viserys felt the same.
For 2 seconds.
Viserys felt the same. He renounced the strength of dragons and embraced a quieter life. Helaena says he did not wish to be changed. You believe the dragons alter us in some way? I thought that surprise from Rhaenyra was
Helena's like, duh.
Yeah, and she's also like, the first episode of this series was like Viserys telling you exactly that, and we talk about it literally every pod.
By we, do you mean you?
Yes.
Yep.
And I will again.
Yep.
Today I won't be stopped.
In the notes.
It won't be stopped. And again, probably next week, who knows? And then probably 8 weeks in a row during season 4. You now have many dragons. Are you yourself not? Ooh, dramatic pause, ellipses. Altered?
Yeah, that's how she said it.
Was it not?
Like she was about to cowabunga. Altered.
Wipe out. What if Helaena had done that? No, not the vibe, not the tone.
That was like the Batman theme song, but like,
yeah, it was really genre mash in there. Viserys did not renounce Balerion because he wanted to be a dreamer. He didn't fear dreams. He desperately wanted to be a dreamer, as he said, and that desperation led to so much of this.
Right.
But so this is a fascinating, like, selective memory on
Rhaenyra's
his
scary war machine dragon. He was like, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Renounced if you prefer if you're Daemon.
Oh, Balerion. Oh, the black tread. Oh, puppy. Helena's rebuke of the dragon riding family members has been interesting. Like with Aemond, it was very overt, right? Was it worth the price? It won't make any difference. Like the thing that you're doing and the way that you are living your life is wrong and I won't participate in it. But even to Daemon in the dream walking, it's all a story and you're but one part of it. You know your part, you know what you must do. And now here, the way that Helaena has tried, frankly, in like kind of limited screen time until recently, to reach the puncture the dragon riding hubris, are kind of interesting to think about, especially now that we've glimpsed some of these dreams directly.
She should have been the high tower, Targ Tower with red hair.
I mean, what a fascinating alternate history that is. But Alicent was like, I got to keep you here. Got to marry you to your brother and keep you here. Tough one. Dragons, the Iron Throne, the prophecy of ice and fire, the effect of power in many forms, this idea for the Targ rulers that these things are all entwined, right? So whether you're talking about the idea that you control dragons is an illusion, shut up, Viserys. A power of dimension never have trifled with, Califunga. On the Propylariat's doom. You know, Alicent's comments to Rhaenyra this season about the crown and the throne and the inevitable kind of cost and price of that power in all these forms, the path is the same because those things are inextricable from each other. Mm-hmm. The dragon leads you to the throne and the crown. You think you have to keep it because of the prophecy that your dragon dream gave you. The Targs. Rich text. Eat shit, CR. Track Rhaenyra's tonal evolution across this scene.
Not to mention the physical.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Here's my note for Rhaenyra.
Just one? Only one?
Just the one.
Uh-huh.
Take a peep at the needlepoint, maybe.
Let me ask you this. Do you think she still could? She still could. Because it's there. She knows it's there. She pulled it out of Helena's hand. She didn't inspect it right there. But if she's so desperate for Helaena to tell her something about the future, do you think she'll have a light bulb moment and go back and look at it in the finale?
Maybe.
The physicality was shocking. The grabbing of the forearm.
Well, it's a burning tower on the needlepoint this week.
And who knows what else is on there?
I gotta say, you're the one who pointed out last week's episode that the Harrenhal that she was stitching with the sort of like the Aemond womb stuff.
Yeah.
All the flowers around it. Do you
Yes.
feel like that was a Nightshade sort of reference?
Entirely possible.
She's like, here's where my mom's going to try to poison my brother with all those helpful botanical hints I've been giving her all season.
Yeah.
Do you think Helaena knew that that's what Alicent would do with it? Like, it's a, you know? And
I think
like,
in general, this question, and this is on our minds in this sequence, because Rhaenyra's like, here's a very specific list of things I want you to tell me about, right? Laundry list of what's up with this person, this setting. And Elaine's like, I don't know. You don't know or you won't tell me.
That's not how dreams work.
So this question, of like, what has Helaena, I mean, the things that Helaena said to Aemond in the season 2 finale, like we have a sense that if that tapestry unfurled further, there would be things from elsewhere in the story, right? All over the timeline that she's like.
Kristen Cole.
Yeah. So like.
Torrin Manderly.
Which of those feel like something she can say something about to a character? And which of those feel like things that she can't process, but could eventually?
But also, if she's like, I was dreaming I was in the courtyard with a pale horse.
Mm-hmm.
I dreamt I had chickens and my children were still alive.
I dreamt Sabbatha Frey whispered something at the small council meeting. Had to get it on there. Had to. Sabbath and Frey showing up in King's Landing just long enough to make the fucking tapestry and then piecing out again for Harrenhal. Batshit.
I just want everyone who's not watching the podcast but listening to the podcast to know that when Mallory mimed embroidery.
Mhm.
She used crochet gestures.
I've never crocheted. I was once an enthusiastic knitter.
Yeah.
Back in the day, college. Loved to knit, made a lot of scarves. Never advanced beyond that, but I found it very soothing.
Yeah.
Very soothing.
It's a different
It's a winter sport, so it's tough out here in LA. Rhaenyra, like we speculated last week, is like, I've got a dreamer here, and I want not only to know actionable intel, but to know that I'm the chosen one.
Would you say Rhaenyra has a praise kink? Do you think that's what's...
Let's ask Mysaria.
Mysaria knows she does.
Yeah.
Mysaria's like, I will feed it for you.
Indeed. Here's what Emma Darcy said on Inside the Episode. Ryan Condell and I spoke about this sort of descent into tyranny. I think for both of us, it felt super important to do that in a way that felt very legible. It felt like an opportunity to take this relatively sympathetic character and use her to sort of expose something about the corrupting nature of power. Present across the season, present across the series, captured quite well in this scene with Helaena.
I will say, so here's something, I love the Inside the Episodes,
Yeah.
and I love every time I hear Emma Darcy talk about their character. Like, Emma is so perceptive. I do feel like sometimes on the Inside the Episodes, these actors telegraph things that are coming for their characters that, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like from last season, Emma has been like, this is going really bad for Rhaenyra. So if someone's watching and they don't know how the story goes, and maybe they'd like to think as soon as Rhaenyra gets to King's Landing, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But
I thought the most the most pronounced example of that this season to me was Lonnie. But Lonnie, the last episode with the cut of the thrones. Like, we all know what that means.
Yeah.
The Dragon's Dance. Daemon and Jane, before we get to some ground battle, have it out again up in the Eyrie. Because Daemon's back in the Vale. He's pissed. He charges past the guards and interrupts a very intimate interlude between Jessamine Redfort, we think, and our girl Jane Eyre, who is honestly thriving. Come sit on my lap.
Can I read the passage from Fire and Blood about Jane Eyre?
Please.
Mushroom tells us that this famous maiden was in truth a high-born harlot with a voracious appetite for men, and gives us a salacious tale of how she offered Prince Jacaerys the allegiance of the Vale only if he could bring her to climax with his tongue. Septon Eustace repeats the widespread rumor that Jane Eyre preferred the intimate companionship of other women. Then goes on to say it was not true. In this instance, we must be grateful for Grand Maester Munkin's true telling, for he alone confines himself to the High Hall of the Eyrie rather than its bedchambers.
Well, guess what? Jane Eyre's like, the High Hall of the Eyrie is a bedchamber. Let's fuck.
Anywhere could be a bedchamber if you're inventive enough. Okay?
Exactly.
So Jane Eyre's like, publicly, I like to have my hounds here. Privately, my consort here. We do think it's Jessamine Redfort, who is related to Adrian Redfort, who meets his end in this episode. So a big Redfort episode, perhaps.
Tough way to go.
But yeah, Jane Eyre is, we've talked about this before, but Jane Eyre is an interesting counter to Rhaenyra in terms of like a woman in power.
Yes.
So yes, it's a private moment, I guess, in the High Hall, but it is still like, she still feels free.
Absolutely.
To have her girlfriend on the throne with her.
Yes.
Mysaria, much as she may want to, is not sitting on the sword throne with Rhaenyra. That's not happening. So, double standards depending on how important your throne is.
Indeed.
But Jane Eyre does what she wants, including slapping dragon riders and slapping...
It's wild. She's an icon.
Other things.
This is great because she summoned Daemon. He's pissed that Rhaena's gone. She's like, what does she expect me to do with the dragon rider? They don't listen. And he's like, what about, confine her? We have made the dreamy, why don't you just call for your dragon joke all season. If Jane Eyre had put Rhaena in a sky cell, Daemon, you can't keep a dragon rider in a sky cell because then she actually could have just done sheepy. Sheepy. Jane's worried about exposure, right? The risk is no longer worth it. This was always a very tenuous arrangement. And she's like, I'm telling Rhaenyra, right? I'm going to try to contain this while I can. And Daemon says, give me a minute. Give me a beat. He has to very comically, after dramatic pause here, say please, which I thought set up such a palpable contrast to the like quiet, gentle, I'm leaning in, whispering, cupping your face, and you're casting me away.
Rhaenyra.
Please to Rhaenyra.
But he says please twice in this episode. He says sorry in this episode. And here's what I'll have to say. Hair and Hall therapy, it works.
It really does.
You know?
It really does. Wild to see Daemon Targaryen just fall on his ass out in the dragon fight field.
Yeah.
He's going through
great
it.
acting work from Matt Smith.
It was. If you do not watch House the
You have
Dragon's
to.
built, his
Shout out
hysterical.
Callum, the
Oh my
dragon puppeteer.
What about that one view where he was like, I can't
see anything.
See?
Yeah.
I just have to feel
Callum,
it.
there's a team of people in sort of like blue spandex suits.
Yes.
Like sort of like blue man group, sort of like spandex suits or whatever. But the lead dragon puppeteer is named Callum.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Incredible
Big fan
stuff.
of Callum's work, but he just looks like an absolute asshole
Yeah.
in the field in his blue spandex with this like dumb little blue dragon.
It's incredible. And he's like so committed to the craft.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Matt Smith and he's like, it'll look good on screen. I'm paraphrasing. It'll look good on screen. It was fucking misery.
Because he had to like do
film
that
it.
fall like 20 different times.
So
And also
funny.
Emma Darcy's like, it was a bog. So it was like similar. Is that
So
where they
Nina
shot like
has
Gwaine?
directed both
Double bog.
bog episodes?
You never go
What's
back
up
to the
with
bog.
that? What's up with that?
Yeah,
Um,
but everyone's falling over in this bog, just much like Gwaine and Kristen were falling over in the previous bog.
Boy, fewer leeches this time at least. Joanna, speaking of people working through some pain, care to report how our pal David Jacoby is doing
Not
after
well.
a frankly shocking line from Jane Eyre?
So our friend David Jacoby, Ringer colleague,
Yes.
is the number one Nettles fan, I think, in the world.
There's no question.
Well, George R. Martin, and
I
second
think
only.
I think Jacoby could challenge for the top spot. That is how much he cares about
Okay.
this.
We've been receiving like screed texts from Jacoby for literal years, years
Literal
upon
years.
about what's happening
Yeah.
with Nettles, and then the Rhaena situation this year, and then when this happened, when Jane Eyre cheekily says "living among the nettles and the sheep" about Rhaena, and it's like, oh, that's why they call her Nettles or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jacoby didn't straight up had a bad time about it.
Didn't appreciate it.
No,
Didn't appreciate it.
no.
How
Jail
did
for
you
everyone,
find
I
it?
believe he said. Jail for everyone.
How did you find it? Were you like, oh, Nettles, wink, wink, nod, nod, I like it. I feel seen as a book reader. Or were you like, this is rude?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cute. It'll depend, something that
Yeah.
I've been wondering is if Rhaena now back, because when Rhaena is back in King's Landing and Bela's like, we'll start over.
Mm-hmm.
A new
Yep.
era for you.
She's like,
Rhaena's
I don't
like,
want to do that, and
I
neither
don't-
does Sheepy.
Yeah.
I
But,
said
like-
canonically I would never leave him.
Since we don't, okay, so we're just guessing here, right? Because we
This
don't
is
know. This
so
is
different.
off
Yeah.
the book. So
Yeah.
this is just a pure guess. But let's say Rhaena and Sheepy are done forever. I don't think so. But let's say they are. I don't think so. But let's say they are.
Uh-huh.
And Rhaena then gets back on track with her book plot.
You think I had a lot of canon and lore questions about Sea Smoke? Though
We got a lot of emails about this, actually.
I will say
but
the constant use of separated and renounced does introduce the question of a conscious uncoupling or forced
right. So let's say
uncoupling.
Rhaena gets on track with, and then like
Yeah.
is a cover story that they could spread. Like that wasn't Rhaena. That was some
Sure.
wild girl named Nettles.
Sure.
Yeah. Just to save face, save Targaryen face, Valarian face.
They could try.
Something to think about.
Bela and Adam.
Ormond would do it.
He would certainly
He knows
try.
PR.
He does. He knows pairs and he knows PR. Another incredible Ormond episode, honestly.
They all are.
They really are. Bela and Adam. This was some of the most devastating shit I've ever seen for our beloved Adam. So they're out looking for Vhagar. They think they're still looking for Aemond.
A polycule.
Great.
Something to think about.
I'm in. Bale's growing impatient. Says that Rhaenyra is punishing her for the gullet.
True.
Clearly true. And says that Rhaenyra is using them as tools. Also clearly true. The way that all of these riders are either a tool or, like in Adam and Sea Smoke's case, a portent.
But
or a sign are important.
We got a lot of emails from listeners being in this episode questioning
Mhm.
what was the plan
Mhm.
if Adam and Bela spotted Vhagar? Because it's not like, with love and respect, Moondancer and Sea Smoke could take Vhagar. So is the plan, let's go back and report. But Vhagar's just constantly on the move.
Every time they're out in the field, they're like, we're 2 days behind.
So what was the point of this?
My honest response to that is from the team that brought you, let's attack King's Landing with no army.
Okay.
Like, right?
Yeah. Because like if 3 dragons got rather, and one of them more than the others, fucked up by Sheepstealer is drop in the bucket compared to Vhagar. So like, you know, just like what on earth were Moondancer, who is a young dragon, and Sea Smoke
baby,
supposed to do with Vhagar?
I mean, that's...
And so is Rhaenyra sent them out on a suicide mission, essentially? I don't think she would, because
certainly doesn't want to lose Adam.
I was about to say, not because she cares about Baela, but because she's like, Adam, my you know, my symbol of my legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
the proof that I'm ordained, the sign from the gods.
Ormond like, uses the sign from the gods as if I get to fuck my niece, and then he's like, "Oops, my brother was there first."
This is just an incredible story that we've devoted our careers to covering.
Tough for me. My brother fucked my niece first.
It was so brutal. It really was so brutal. I felt bad for Adam. It was such a sweet appeal. Will you help? Will you help?
Little
me?
like shy
you know,
smile.
Yeah, we'll become legitimized Valarians in case we, you know, one of us meets a
I just
highborn
really
lady.
like Clinton Liberty. I just think he's
great.
Like very good.
He's fantastic. The pain on his face, they didn't have to really work through this here because there's a shriek, you know, announcing Sheepstealer in the distance. But they're going to have to work through this eventually. And I will say I was relieved that this happened, because I was worried that the superior...
Sorry, I'm picking up my phone for a reason. Not because I'm disrespecting you. Because I remembered I took a photo of the screen in the scene.
Let's see it.
Because there's a big question from the listeners of whether or not this is a pile of dragon shit. Is that a rock or is that a pile of dragon shit behind Baela and Adam? Is this good podcasting?
Interesting. Carlos, let's toss that up on the big screen.
I think it is.
That could be a giant turd. Yeah.
I think it is.
It could be a rock.
It doesn't really look like a rock because it has some like texture to it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Our best comp is the Tyrannosaurus shit in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took a photo of it with my phone, so that you could look at it and weigh in on whether or not you thought it was a pile of shit.
I'm in.
And what if that hit Ormond from above?
I mean, from the moment that the smell was introduced, the possibility that Ormond would have to contend with dragon dung at some point has been tantalizing.
I know we've been talking about it, but to actually see how expansive the turds are, and is that supposed to be a Vhagar turd? Like, you know, so they're tracking and they're like, pile
following
of Vhagar shit. How many piles
marks?
of Vhagar shit have they had to sort of like live their life around?
That's a great question. Is that how they're actually able to tell how many days it's been? Because like the scorch mark,
I would want them to get the like big long glove that Laura Dern gets in Jurassic Park, so that they could like forage around and be like, oh, berries and stones.
So has it hardened? It's been 2 days.
Yeah.
This is the best. The best. That's probably what that was.
I think it was.
I mean, I couldn't see a snowflake, so I don't know.
And I will just say the restraint to not like make a shit joke or like have Adam fall face first into whatever. They're just like, we're just going to put a giant pile of dragon dung behind these two characters.
I would say that
while he's getting his heart broken.
The show famous for constraint. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. What if he recoiled and hurt,
fell into the shit
to find out that his niece had fucked his brother, and then he's like, when he wanted to fuck her himself, and then he just like fell into a pile of dragon shit. It's a different show. That's Dunk and Egg.
It is.
Yeah.
Diarrhea Dunk. Remember him? What do you think Poop Robin's up to? Oh God. I'm glad that the chemistry between these two was not like an own goal and the show didn't realize and actually was setting up this tension, which I mean, it's a relief.
I disagree in that
you still think it's a mistake.
I mean that they're using it for something, sure. Yeah. That Adam, when he's like, take a rest, have a snack, like previous in the season, it's because he like fancies his niece. Okay, that's lovely. I'm not gonna let it go. Incest, remember it. But they're still out scorching Adam and Baela, and I still think that's a problem.
No question.
you know?
There's no
For
question.
Bela to coyly be like, oh, did your brother talk to you? Like, as if
Yeah.
she
It was
had
the
any
fuck
kind
of
of
the century. Basic instinct. The fuck of the century. Was it? I don't know. I mean, God, maybe if they're surrounded by piles of dragon shit, that's why these two haven't fucked, though. It's not the most romantic setting. Yeah, you've got the open air.
But
But
the
what
aroma.
Yeah.
There was a thing when I lived in Sonoma County.
I can't wait to see what you say next, given that we've been talking about heaping piles of dragon shit and incest.
It's about cow shit.
Great.
Sonoma County, we're in, there's a lot of cattle. I also went to school at UC Davis where there's a lot of cattle. And so in both places, when the weather gets quite warm,
Smelly.
it just kind of reeks of manure. That's just the realities of living in Davis and Sonoma. Two places I've lived in my life. In Sonoma, they call it the Sonoma aroma. Like when the heat hits and the winds are not blowing it out to sea and all you can smell is manure, that's the Sonoma aroma.
A
So.
Laris-esque spin job.
Mm-hmm.
It will be my duty to ensure that they refer to it as the Sonoma aroma in honor of His Grace's bravery. Gonna work on my British accent before next season.
No, it's impeccable. Why would you? Cowbunga.
Orphan maker. We haven't heard calls to do that in a while, which is sad.
Bold John, get it together.
Fucking
Start
Bold John.
slicing and dicing.
I know, for real. Speaking of slicing and dicing, Admiral Bela, sheepy news to share with the small council, of course. But before that, we get a glimpse once again of Rhaenyra's small council in absolute tatters. I did feel that there was momentum in this scene, though. Like, they're a shit show, as always, but they were talking about some new things.
Like the shit show that is Torrent Manderley's pied-à-terre.
This was so funny.
It was so validating to me because we were like, why would Torrent Manderley have a house in town? And he's like, okay, he does have a pied-à-terre in King's Landing. That's great. Shit smeared great. And then he was like, it's almost like I've been set up as a scapegoat. All-time reaction shot from Mysaria.
She literally did.
Yeah.
The Homer Simpson retreating into the bushes meme.
There's also in this small council scene, there's a sort of camera up from above, a really episode 3 shot of Rhaenyra, sort of like camera dramatic angle down, and she's tapping her fingers. But we get no finger cut check-in in this episode.
That's right, we don't.
No, how's the magical leprosy going for Rhaenyra in this episode?
No. You're right.
Je proteste.
Oh God. I thought that Rhaenyra's gaslighting, because we were talked previously in prior episodes about the very like there was nothing subtle about the way that they were actually scapegoating Torrent and talking in the throne room about, well, blame him was like kind of absurd. I thought that the gaslighting from Rhaenyra in this scene was hysterical when she's like, well, what have you been doing about it? It's kind of incredible. Really, really good. Yeah. Really, really good. This is where Sabitha is like, you know, if a child asks enough times in a row for a cookie before bed, maybe they'll get it. And Rhaenyra's just like, fucking take it. Go. And can you make sure Aemon's dead while you're at it?
Here's what she says. If Sir Adrian has been successful in his endeavor, of course, then there's a small matter of Harrenhal. So let's go through the things that Sabitha Frey knows. That there is a prophecy. No details on the prophecy, but there is a prophecy.
I still can't handle this.
You're still upset. We got a lot of emails telling you to chill out about it, but it's okay.
I won't.
And then she knows that Rhaenyra sent her Queen's Guard to go murder Aemond. Like, why does Sabitha Frey know about that plan? Why?
I have no idea.
And also, I mean, so if you'll recall, I mean, I know we've already stated it in this episode and constantly throughout the season, the thesis of the season is Rhaenyra will have to do things she never dreamed she thought she would do once she's wearing the crown and sitting on the throne.
Right.
It does this to you. Power corrupts, whatever you prefer.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, as I often do, of our guy Luthen, condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them, because who sent a King's Guard to assassinate a would-be heir? It was our guy, Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
And by our guy, I mean not, who orchestrated the cargo bowl. And when he did it, it was such a fucking, like, big deal violation that he did this, you know? So Rhaenyra is like, I'll do this, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing.
She's been doing the full Luthen since she was talking about sharing her dreams with ghosts in episode 3.
Yeah.
Luthen Hive, rise always.
No.
Not the only time that Andor's going to come up today.
Killed Lonnie.
Fucking spoiler, dude.
For Andor? Fuck you if you haven't seen Andor. You're the problem.
Oh my God. What do you think of just the fact that Rhaenyra is honoring a pledge, but only because it suits her and because she's lost her patience completely? She's not like giving you Harrenhal's the right thing because Jace said it should be yours.
Yeah, go get Harrenhal.
That like whistle fog soundscape change kicks in again.
Whining, yeah.
Yeah, very good. When the news that Sheepy's in Fair Market with the rider, dun dun dun, is shared. We're going to talk about the Mysaria, Rhaenyra, Daemon, Mysaria, Daemon aspect of this separately. We're going to stick with the dragon stuff for now, and we'll hit that next. Daemon finds Rhaena. Caraxes and Daemon take Sheepstealer and Rhaena down so that father and daughter can enjoy a cool, calm, collected chat. Work through it. Maybe it'll be fine. I thought that Rhaena helpfully shared a little reminder and a pre-Dragon Brawl warning. He does not heed me. He does not heed me. This admission that there is no control here, which is very much on display.
That the idea that we control the dragons is an illusion?
You familiar with Valeria? The Doom?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the concept of love being the death of duty? Would you apply love being the death of duty to this Daemon, Rhaenyra situation? Because it is, okay, is it, I think it's more complicated than that. Because if you're saying Daemon's love for his daughter, his newfound love for his daughter, Rhaena,
right. Which at least he owned.
Yeah. In this episode, it really
yeah.
satisfied me in this episode too. I almost wish like we had that first encounter and then this one, and then I was meant to buy sort of like his conversion rather than like have it happen like instantly earlier in the season.
Yeah.
I could buy it here. But so newfound love for his daughter. Oops, I was a bad dad for his daughter, Rhaena. So that's love.
Yeah.
And his duty being to his queen to inform her about what's going on with Sheepstealer being honest. But his queen is his wife. So there should be love.
And the tenderness with which he says, you are my wife later.
There should be love there as well. So it's just like it
turns out incest and family civil wars complicate this question.
I wouldn't marry my niece.
Brave take.
Thanks.
Brave take. Daemon offers to chase Vhagar with her. That was sweet.
Aw, the family that goes on suicide missions together, stays together.
For a minute, at least. I thought it was quite sad when Rhaena's like, why? Why would you help me? I don't believe that you would help me. That was a pretty crushing moment for Daemon and for Daemon's stance. He says, basically, because I get it. I get a lot of it. I get that I've been a bad dad. And also, I had no dragon either when I was young. Did you know that? My mother died in childbed when I was 3 years of age. My mother, who I wanted to fuck. Check out season 2.
Don't worry about it.
My brother sank into sadness. I was alone, just as you've been. I should have done better, Rhaena.
His dad also died, but he's more interested in his mom, the one he wanted to fuck. Yeah. I think all the mentions of like Viserys and Daemon when they were younger and their relationships to dragons and also, does that give us once again another Aemond Daemon connection? Yes, of course it does.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't have a dragon when I was younger. I felt sad, and then I got the long boy himself, Caraxes.
That's right, sweet bloodworm. When this had come up previously in the show, there was a little bit of the comedy, and it's actually kind of like it's stark to think back to it now, given this rift between Baela and Rhaenyra. But Baela and Rhaenyra, in midway through season 2, in episode 5, were talking about when they were mourning Rhaenys, and Meleys. Did your grandmother ever tell you of the night she claimed Meleys? She snuck in the dragon pit. She knew that place better than any. They say she could even see in the dark. My father was furious. His own mother, who he wanted to fuck, his own mother's dragon, the fastest beast ever known, and she'd have none of him, but bent her neck to Rhaenys. So this idea that he wanted Meleys to be close to his mommy, and she wouldn't have him.
The Red Queen.
And the pursuit and the wait. Interesting. I think this idea that Daemon maybe on some level was like more distant from the daughter who reminded himself of him in some capacity. And then that unlocks this very, again, Viserys doomed to repeat it if we don't need our histories idea. And just Daemon kind of reckoning with the failures as a father, failure in all respects, limitations in all respects across this season. Like, I was thinking back to our conversation about that sequence with Rhaena and Daemon in episode 4. Actually, later in this episode, when Daemon, and we'll talk about this more when we get to it, but Daemon and Rhaenyra, when Rhaenyra's like, what did you think I was going to do? And like,
And
Daemon, yes.
Don't forget, Alinda's also there.
Alinda is
watching.
I did love that camera shot of Alinda's face. Like,
I don't want to be here. Can I be anyone? Talk about disappearing into the hedge.
Oh my
That's
God.
Alinda Massey.
I was going to make a joke about how Daemon wanted to disappear into the hedge. And I
really
decided
did.
not to. And then I said I was going to do it. So here we are. But the like idea that Daemon specifically is actually the one who was coaching and guiding Rhaenyra toward embracing the violence. And then it's like having to stare in the face the potential consequence of that welding and hewing of the sword. Like, what if it comes toward your family, toward your child? This is interesting. Speaking of violence, tooth and claw time. This scene is not in the books, and it was awesome.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Remember on Talk of Thrones when CR was like, oh, a bunch of dragons are injured now, and you and I were like,
that was great.
That
was a great
best
moment.
Talk of Thrones moments, honestly. When you and I were just like, we did not fucking think about
CR really
that.
blew my mind there.
Got me good.
Great stuff. Rhaena and Daemon are interrupted by the arrival of Adam and Rhaenyra because the Rhaenyra-Mysaria conversation that we'll talk about in a bit sends Rhaenyra out into the field.
She brings like, you Adam, not you Bela.
Naturally.
Not you Bela.
And Rhaena thinks that Daemon betrayed her. Again, very sad. And Daemon's like, I swear I didn't. Run. Syrax lands so hard and so angry, so clearly channeling Rhaenyra's rage. We've shared this passage a number of times across our seasons, but some will claim that the bond between a dragon and dragon rider runs so deep that the beast shares his master's loves and hates. Could really feel that in this sequence, I thought, even though it's paired deliciously with the fact that like the bond is that deep, there's no control. And both those things are true. And then this is what it looks like. The 4 dragons forming a circle with the little tiny people. These powerful beings in the realm who are specks in the middle of that circle. Such a great visual.
And to your point, like watching Daemon Targaryen, you know, like the fiercest warrior fall on his ass. It was great. And watching the queen of the realm sort of like hunched over and like cowering. And, you know, Adam acquitted himself pretty well. Adam, perfect.
As usual, we have no notes for Adam except that he wants to commit incest. But so does everyone else in the story.
Chases down his would-be future sister-in-law/niece.
What did you make of this? Rhaenyra saying to Daemon, this is before the full carnage unfolds here, answer carefully. You will not have another chance to deceive me. Like,
Dracarys.
Because I won't trust you or because you're going to be fucking
I'm
dead.
going to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you. Absolutely.
Big yikes energy here.
I mean, yikes from everyone, honestly. In the book, there is this question of like Daemon's protectiveness towards Nettle.
Yes.
Is it because Nettles is his daughter?
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is a version of which they've decided to go with the show, or is it his lover? Right. And this is something like Rhaenyra is convinced.
Yes. That Mysaria is pushing on. I think this is fine to talk about.
I think it's fine to talk about because I really don't think they're going there with Daemon and Rhaena.
I think they've just clean swapped. He lied to you about the dragon for he's fucking her. In terms of Mysaria's pursuits, at least.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like, despite all the incest on the show, I do not think they're going to say, let's do a love story between Daemon and Rhaena. I don't think it's happening. No. So I think it's fine to say that this is like a rumor, a supposition, never confirmed, but this is what Rhaenyra believes, that like Daemon and Nettles are having a sexual affair and Mysaria is pushing this message, etc.
Right.
So when Rhaenyra like lands and is like, you know, what do you know of Sheepstealer's Rider? Like I really felt that like, are you fucking this? Well, before she finds out
who it is,
it's Rhaena.
Yeah,
I felt a real like,
what is the nature of this relationship?
What is going? What the fuck is going on here?
Totally.
And then she's like, "Oh my god, it's Rhaena."
Right. The show is like, guys, we're not going to do that on our program. Daemon only wants to fuck his mom, not his daughter.
His mom and his niece. We love uncles and nieces.
Oh god.
Not father daughter. Step too
never.
far.
There's a limit.
Yeah.
Even for House of the Dragon. Adam drags Rhaena forward. Rhaenyra learns the truth. to her astonishment, lets out that this is finished.
Mhm.
Rhaena kind of falls to her knees, and Rhaenyra begins to move forward toward her, which was on my mind later when Rhaenyra was like, what did you think I was going to do? I was like, well, I was pretty scared for a second there as you charged forward. Just to take her prisoner, maybe. But, like, it was all very... There's a lot of violent... There's a lot of violence on display here. And then Sheepy is like, no, you won't. No. Charges forward to defend his rider. I find the bond between Sheepstealer and Rhaena in this sequence and in general quite beautiful, and so it's devastating that they've been parted.
No. Rhaena's, like, anguish,
Seeing
it reminded me so much of his Dark Materials.
Oh, yes.
When Lyra and Pan are sort of like pulled apart from each other.
Yeah. Yes.
Just sort of like
great call.
Just the soul-rending experience of being separated from your dragon.
Yeah. Yes. And the shriek that Sheepstealer emits as like Rhaena is flying off. That was just really, really, really awful. The fight itself, carnage, chaos. And it's on the ground, which is a new twist and a new flavor for us for Dragon War.
We get broad daylight.
Yeah. Various permutations of 3-on-1 Sheepy. Sheepy has to fight all of the other dragons at some point, including more than one of that at a time. Cyrax, as you noted, takes some pretty serious... It's like able to fly off, which Sheepstealer's not. Sheepstealer tries to lift the wing, but...
I was like worried so
lot of
much
cuts.
throat chomping, and then Cyrax gets a really good nail... Like that one of those like hissing steam coming out sort of nail swipes.
Yeah, the steaming blood.
Sheepstealer.
I mean, it's very sad, but looked amazing in this sequence. Sea Smoke gets tossed around a bit. Caraxes takes the least damage by far among the set. Sheepstealer the most, but Cyrax definitely very heavily wounded. And that was, I mean, it was fun to see Cyrax in the field, but sad to see Cyrax take the damage like that.
So CR asked us on Talk the Throne sort of like, who is the baddest dragon in this brawl? And you and I slightly disagreed, though conceded that each other had good points. And the internet seems largely on your side, but I just wanted to give you that. But also I'm sticking by, I think your point that supported me, which is that Sheepstealer survived survived a 3-on-1 attack. Is Caraxes like slicker, has better moves? Like all of that is true. It's just, you know, Sheepstealer's bigger, tough. Like the hide gets tougher. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Is Caraxes the more adept fighter? Absolutely.
Yeah. In this stretch of the story, Sheepstealer has, other than the complete fumble of the gullet, no battle experience within this kind of setting. Whereas Caraxes is just like a seasoned warrior. You know, the time with Aemond and survive
out in the rough. Yeah. You know, so
compare that to the Fourth Dornish War with Aemond.
I don't know. You survive. And then you evade the cannibal. And now this. I mean, cannibal is no fucking joke. No fucking joke. We're gonna see Cannibal at some point. That would be fun. I really hope so. The fight was amazing in terms of just the choreography of it and how cool it looked. But more importantly, in season 3, episode 7, where we've seen a lot of dragon carnage, but we're heading into not only the finale of the season, but the final stretch of House of the Dragon. We got one more season left. And I guess they could change this, but based on reports and announcements to this point, 8 episodes in season 4, right? Yeah. So we're in the end game-ish. We're in the end game now.
A very riveting and effective way to remind us as the dance continues what Dragon War actually looks like, right? The illusion of control, as we've talked about many times. That opening warning, Joe, from the Great Council, which you mentioned on Talk the Thrones, the idea, right? The only thing that can tear down the House of the Dragon is itself. You see that rendered so clearly here in a way that you really is it's undeniable.
Well, and as you brought up on Talk the Thrones, this is Team Black on Team Black violence.
Yeah. I mean, Rhaena and Sheepy undeclared, but no Team Green here. And this is still devastation.
I mean, this is just such a fumble upon fumble. Rhaenyra, I'm really rooting for you, but we could make Rhaena and Sheepstealer an asset. No, I understand. The Jace trauma is real, but there's no attempt to be oh, Rhaena claimed a big fuck off dragon.
Right. What can we do with
this? Let's redo the dragon math.
I thought that was pretty interesting as a through line in this episode, actually across character sets, confronted with some new thing in real time. Can you pivot? That's the best example of it. A lesser example, but still interesting to me was the level of remorse and repentance that Aemond, a flawed character who's made mistakes, shows to Alicent when talking about Aegon.
And she's yada, 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 drink that poison.
I'm going to still poison you. Yeah. Not what if we tried to make this work and challenged Rhaenyra?
Let's get on Vhagar, go get your sister, and go raise some chickens. Can we have chickens here at Harrenhal? Would your goth girlfriend enjoy if not only your
She's
mom was
wringing
here,
a
but
neck
also
and the blood goes right into the cauldron. Come on.
But when you loved, I really think Alys would love Helaena. They think of the things they could dream
Talk
together.
about a spinoff we deserve.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that would be great.
Mhm.
That would be great.
So let's find Vagar wherever the fuck
Let's
she
look
may
at the Tobians.
and go get your sister.
I love it. I'm in. The reminder that dragons can kill dragons in half. To quote the fire blood passage that is so germane to the text. And as we mentioned on Talk of Thrones, Daemon was the one at the end of season 1 who voiced that line. But the thing that he said after it wasn't just it's no easy thing for a man to be a dragon slayer, but dragons can kill dragons and has. He moved right from that into dragon math, right? The simple truth is this: we have more dragons. When you see the way the dragons can hurt each other. Now, have people killed dragons? Yes. Including in some very PTSD moments at the end of Game of Thrones. But also, as we've talked about recently, like Hellhole, right? Other examples as well.
When they kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet.
I'll simply never recover from it. Never. Never.
We're going to redo the dragon math at the end of this episode.
We will.
We'll recount the sides.
Update the tally.
I mean, this has been a massive shift inside of this episode on multiple counts.
So we've seen Joe. We've seen how dragons can harm each other, but this really like crystallizes something, right? Shipbreaker Bay. Aemond and Vagar against Luke and Arax. R.I.P. Tough one. Just like a Trisket. A little one bite. Done. Brutal.
Not even a Trisket because sometimes that can take 2 bites. It's like one of those little Trisket triangles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just, and then like a little point of the triangle falls and then Rhaenyra found it later. That was it. Brutal. Rook's Rest, obviously. Aemond and Vagar versus Rhaenys and Meleys, dead, devastating, and then burning Aegon and Sunfire, who lives. And, the gullet is different, but we see the dragons.
Sheep Stealer.
Unlike everybody else, I'm not blaming Sheep Stealer. I'm still blaming Jace, who I miss, but who never should have gone into that setting.
Correct.
And we talked about this and Maegor the Cruel a lot this season, but Maegor and Balerion versus Aegon, different Aegon, son of Aenys, and Quicksilver at the God's Eye at Harrenhal, one of the most famous, and it precedes this stretch in the timeline. So these characters know that history.
Silverwing, she's a goer. She's been tested. Here's the thing. I don't like to tell Rhaenyra what she can't do, much like John Locke.
Yeah. But
I believe women can do things. Given how shittily Syrax acquitted herself inside of this fight, how well do you think Rhaenyra would have done at the gullet?
This is an interesting question because the catch-22 of this is kind of where Jace and Virmax found themselves because Jace was like, send me out. No. And then it's like, are you ready? Should Euron have been able to kill Rhaegal that quickly? I say no.
No.
I say no, folks.
No.
But if those dragons had been able to grow and bond and not been chained in the catacombs of Meereen.
Well, Syrax is more mature than Virmax for sure. But I'm
No
just
question.
like, I'm just like, sorry, I pronounce Syrax like 9 different ways constantly. But like, I don't know, like young Rhaenyra and Syrax was just like such a cool action couple. And now it just
Auto
feels
shit
like
his pants.
Yeah, now it just feels like these ladies are too delicate for war. And I don't like that transition.
I thought Syrax did but put up a shot or two. Okay. Put up a shot or two.
Okay.
No? 0 points? You say 0 points.
No, I mean, she got that swiping. That nail swiping.
Mysaria, making her moves. So Mysaria is feeling the pull of power here. After that small council sequence, Mysaria just immediately following Rhaenyra. Once again, this conversation taking place in a hallway, grabbing Rhaenyra in a hallway. Queen's Guard there. Who else is seeing this? Shocking stuff as usual.
Well, and then she goes like, and pedals it back.
Yeah. Who can say what allegiance he may have formed in secret when he found you lacking? Wild. I thought in general, Mysaria in this episode, in the conversations with Rhaenyra.
Your favorite character?
Mysaria, I do think she'd be. I stand by the podcasting take. I find Mysaria interesting to watch. Not sure she'd crack my top 20 favorite characters, but I do think she's very interesting. I think there's this very sincere, obviously, attempt to diminish Daemon, to elbow him out of the way. But so much of what was happening in this episode in particular was very much fueled by the projecting, knowing that she has done these things too. It was I found it necessary, and I was glad that Rhaenyra called her out on that later.
Oh, yes. And again, we talked about this in Talk of the Thrones. There are multiple times inside this episode when a character sort of concedes the other side of an argument, you know, and I think that's really interesting. But what I think about what's going on with Mysaria here is she goes for a slightly physically aggressive move, not what I would do in front of a Queen's Guard. Found you lacking, as you point out.
Shocking, yeah.
But later, and sort of, so I mean this all complimentary, but like when Sylvie says like once a whore, always a whore, essentially to her, Mysaria. Mysaria then using the skills of a sex worker, which is like identify what your client, your target, whatever the case may be, wants and give it to them, right?
Frankly, a lesson Rhaenyra could stand to learn.
And so, you know, she said she calls her lacking, and elsewhere in the season, Daemon said to Rhaenyra, and you noted this in plain English, shouted in the Sept, "You're better than this, Rhaenyra," right? But Rhaenyra, who may or may not have a praise kink, does not want to hear that.
No.
That's not going to help
Affirmation.
at all. She needs words of affirmation.
Yes.
Again, I reject this will be on a different podcast, but the love language concept is flawed. But Rhaenyra needs to be flattered and cajoled, as Sylvie mentioned. And so this is you're talking about pivoting. This is what Mysaria does a good pivot inside of this episode.
For sure.
You know, goes from like, he thinks less of you to be like,
but I know.
You are worthy.
You're doing great.
No
You're
one's
crushing
worthier
it.
than you.
You're crushing it. Let's fuck. I thought that the way Mysaria like adjusted from the past and also connected back to it in this episode was pretty fascinating to watch. And Daemon is obviously, for Rhaenyra and Mysaria, a character who unlocks so much of that for both of them. I liked when Mysaria asked, is there anything Daemon could do that you would truly not believe? Because the conversation that brought to mind to me was one between Daemon and Rhaenyra about Alicent back on Driftmark in season 1, episode 7. I do not believe Alicent capable of cold murder. And Daemon replies, each of us is capable of depravity more than you would believe. To which Rhaenyra replied, I believe it of you. So this idea that, again, in trying to point out how the other person vying for affection is not to be trusted, it comes back on you.
To be clear, Daemon straight up murdered his wife. So, you know, just something to think about in the Vale. It's not an
murder cloak era.
It's not an unjust accusation.
I mean, so much of the blood in the story is on Daemon's hands. Blood and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
We've got notes.
Mysaria also involved in that.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of hypocrisy from Mysaria too.
Everyone.
All of them. Fucking best. The best.
Let's all go to Harrenhal and have some dream therapy.
Tell me what you thought about this Sylvie Mysaria scene, which we should note takes place while Rhaenyra is gone, right?
So the cat's away.
We have, I would say,
where are the cats in this episode?
Great question. I mean, busy chasing the rats, but I have not seen nearly enough of them.
No.
We have no reason to believe, I would say, no reason to believe, other than maybe earlier in the season Rhaenyra being like, do it in the way only you can. No reason to believe that Mysaria positioning herself in the fucking throne room as Rhaenyra's proxy is sanctioned by Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm.
Bold.
Yeah. Real stunting for your former coworker to just sort of like, to show them how good you have it now.
Yeah.
And Sylvie calls her out for it.
She does.
As we mentioned on Talk the Thrones, to me, this felt like a real Varys and Littlefinger talking about the realm in front of the Iron Throne sort of moment. This idea of like the manipulators, the strivers, the whisperers inside of this throne. I don't know how Sylvie is being characterized. Like, you know, she's done, you know, some skullduggery for Mysaria, but she's also being kind of positioned as this like true voice of the people.
Yeah. Yes.
Which I think is interesting. And I don't think either of that really exists between Varys and Littlefinger. So it's not a clean comp, but still just like these two non-royals standing in front of the Iron Throne in an empty throne room cannot help but remind us of that scene. And you know, chaos is a ladder. The climb is all. The fall is all, you know, sort of thing.
Different scene, obviously, but Varys at least gives us the realm someone must energy. That's
the realm.
Someone must, great stuff.
No, Varys claims to be, but like...
Is anyone really? And that's obviously part of what the show is interested in. You know, I was thinking back to Mysaria saying to Daemon in real peak, what is this accent? Season 1, episode 2 territory when they absconded with the dragon egg, Daemon did, to Dragonstone, back in the power duo Cyrax.
Yeah,
Rhaenyra
Mysaria used
days.
to ride Dragonback with
That's
Daemon.
right, got on a Caraxes.
Do you think Rhaenyra will take her on a ride on Cyrax?
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. Anytime we talk about like riding dragons as a sexual euphemism, makes me think of Jorah. Too old to ride the dragon.
Well, but also,
tough.
And plenty of people pointed this out, Sylvie rode the dragon that is Aemond.
That's right.
And Mysaria rode the dragon that is Daemon. Once again.
Well, for a while there, and then tough.
Yeah.
He was like,
but she did.
It happens to everyone.
She did is the point.
Yes.
So
yes,
these two women have fucked
yes.
princes.
The Dark Mirrors.
Of the realm.
Yes. You are Targaryen. This is what Mysaria said to Daemon in season 1, episode 2. You can afford to play your stupid games with the king, but I cannot. I didn't come into your service wanting gold or power or station. I came to you to be liberated. Liberated from what? Fear. And I think that when Mysaria says that there, it doesn't mean there's no like striver element to her character at that point, but there's a sincerity there. Much as, like we've talked about earlier in the season, I think when Mysaria pledged herself to Rhaenyra and said, like, you, I think, are steadfast, that felt sincere. And then it's another character's version of, well, what does that proximity to?
Power.
Well, I got 1 week at the White Lotus and I'm hooked. Like when Sylvie's like, look at what you're wearing. A year, that silk is a year of my salary.
I mean, those massages, what are you going to do?
Seems wonderful.
Listen.
Wonderful.
Mysaria had an escape. And then it was the cargo bowl that brought her back to Rhaenyra.
They've contributed so much.
Some sort of, loyalty there to Rhaenyra. There's genuinely something there, along with, I would say, ambition and striving. I believe there's genuinely like a rutabaga in every pot sort of energy from Mysaria.
Oh yeah, no question.
But it has its limits.
I mean, and part of the ambition, part of the striver is like, choose me. So those things they don't feel to me like mutually exclusive from each other. Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy time. Okay.
I've never seen a second of Grey's Anatomy. I mean, I've seen a second of it because I've seen clips.
I know.
Never seen a full episode. To your question about like Sylvie and the positioning, I think we are getting, will it hold? Who knows? Because does it hold for anyone? But so far, it feels like we are getting a more entrenched and sincere, I actually am going to stand for the small folk and stick with that than we've gotten from other characters. Thinking back to the Aemond Cuddle Fest, it's the small folk like me who suffer.
I know.
Into challenging Rhaenyra at the petition of like, remember who got you here. It's always been, we've not actually really had a sequence with Sylvia that wasn't about that other than the first little eyebrow raise and waggle at Aemond.
Yeah.
And,
So I would give the same note that I would give to the writing of Alan, which is like, let's slightly diversify. If this is a character that's going to stick around and be used in season 4, which it might be, like.
Well, this time we got the throne reminds me of 100 Vine Cocks.
Like, give her a cat or something, a pet.
Maybe that's where all the cats are.
Okay.
Maybe they were Sylvia, and we'll find out. That would be great.
She has a lot of milk there.
Oh, God. Great stuff. You are changed. This has changed you. That's what Sylvie says to Mysaria. Obviously,
if Sylvie had a dragon, she'd melt the throne down.
No question. No question. I know what that throne does to people. I know. But then what would Drogon have done later? How would he have filled his calendar?
It's true.
Remember that?
I do.
Just wild.
Let's just keep talking about the end of Game of Thrones. Our favorite
stuff. Oh man. Rhaenyra receiving Daemon.
I loved this move.
Incredible.
I loved the move to keep Alinda Massey there because
your favorite character.
I do love Alinda Massey.
Great.
But I think
eye on her.
I think I am always nervous about Alinda Massey. I am worried that she is reporting to Mysaria. I think all of that is something that's on my mind.
Yep.
And she might have inside of this episode, which might have helped Mysaria in her tactics at the end of this episode. So that's all possible. But Rhaenyra keeping Alinda there to be like, you're not going to dickmatize me, Daemon. Like you can't, you can't cajole, you can't seduce me into agreeing with you or forgiving you or whatever. This is not going to end with a tumble.
You can cut my cheek, but nothing else.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you think there was any element of wanting to like shame him by making him declare these very private things with a witness, or even just the proximity of someone who she trusts, or was it all?
I kind of feel like Daemon would shout.
We're not going to fuck our way out of this.
Yeah.
That was what I read in it too. The tenderness on display from Daemon here.
Again, this is Matt Smith's reading of this character, that he like genuinely loves Rhaenyra, that he's a real lover boy. Did you see the photo of Jamie Campbell Bower from Rings of Power that was circulating, and how much he looked like Gwaine Hightower in his armor?
And the hair, like identical.
Gwaine core.
I mean,
can he high kick his way off a horse?
I was just gonna say, can't wait to see him jump off a horse and reference something that I don't remember from the episode and didn't see the meme of.
But
can't wait.
I'll show it to you later. But the lover boy era for Daemon. This is sincere. He is being genuinely sincere. It is hard for me to fully understand this character pivot, but I am intrigued by it.
I love it. I think that Daemon is the, and George's stated, I'm paraphrasing, but like favorite character because of the complexities. I'm contradiction in the human heart, Joe.
To some, he is the blackest villain that ever existed.
It's the only thing worth writing about. And to others. And so I like that all of these things are in the brew with Daemon. This is when Rhaenyra is like, what do you think I am? I like that later when Rhaenyra goes to Mysaria, there's a rationality on display. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He was trying to help and protect his daughter.
That's what I'm saying about, people
carrying that.
Yeah.
But in this moment, there's no embrace. There's no path to reconciliation because the hurt is so deep for a lot of reasons, but this feels like top among them. What do you think I am?
Yes.
What does it mean if all the people closest to me in my life,
Alicent's like,
Alicent, think I'm going to kill babies?
Yeah.
Or their daughters. Like, what a mirror for Rhaenyra to have to hold up to herself here.
And it's just like, fine, you paint me a villain, I'll be a villain. But like, I think just so high on the list of Rhaenyra's complaints here, honestly, or I don't know, high, but it's well up the list, is embarrassment.
Sure.
About all the time she spent staring at this skull that was just a random goat herder's skull.
Yeah. You lied to me. I believed you. And every night I looked at that and thought I got my vengeance. Yeah.
You made a fool of me. I just stared at a skull that belonged to a stranger because you duped me. How fucking mortifying.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I only to me worth it for the payoff of seeing Rhaenyra pick up the skull.
Oh, you're going to draft her?
And hurl it into the center of the fucking strike zone. I was like, aspirational. Unlike me, Rhaenyra has her.
Have you been working on your pitch?
Okay, let me tell you this. I was going to text you guys over the weekend, and then I was too ashamed. I did go this weekend for the first time, even though it is already August, out to a park. I told you Adam and I had done a little light, like with a little foam training ball, just kind of working on, some mechanics. Went out with an actual ball for the first time. I would say that I have neither the arm strength nor the accuracy nor the mechanical predictability necessary to deliver a successful first pitch in 2 weeks. But I do have an unbelievable amount of pain in my shoulder since then. So we'll see when I'm ready to get back out there. But it's been humbling. And Rhaenyra is in this way, and perhaps this way only, currently inspiring me to a different course. Tough one.
Really
tough one. So Rhaenyra can't sleep. She tosses the skull. And she goes and seeks out Mysaria.
This episode is a real one for like a bunch of different images that really confused us in the trailer. Yes. The Helaena giving birth scene,
the skull in the
fireplace, where we were like, "Whose skull is that?"
But those are still 2 and 3 on the list after the bonfire of the bed.
Oh,
that was an all-time.
When I checked every
freeze
headboard.
frame Robinson moment. I went through the complete blueprint of the Red Keep. And every stitch of furniture that this family has. I know. It was amazing.
Oh, man. Trailer breakdowns. They're really good for our mental health.
Oh, God. Great stuff.
Anyway, Helaena. Well, and we did guess in the trailer that Helaena giving birth might be a dream, but I did think it was Aemond's dream in Harrenhal.
Yeah, which I liked that theory.
But this is Helena's dream. And then the skull, we just were wrong on 9 different counts.
I don't even remember what we said.
I think we were like, Jace. I can say that now. It's no longer a spoiler. Sorry, that made me so scared. Jace. It was Jace.
Terrified.
We can say that. We thought it might be Jace.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
There was a theory going around that it was Viserys's like moldering head that had just been like laying around somehow. I don't know.
Man, I would have gotten rid of all of Viserys's body parts. Were
a real fright.
It's incredible. Mysaria basically is like, speaking of Viserys, right, says, only thing I ever did was tell you that, exactly what you wanted to hear about your dad, right? And then says the thing she's doing, then does it completely. Like, I just tell you what you want to hear.
And I will just say this, for the first fucking time, thank you, Rhaenyra's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Being like Viserys, not great, actually.
I'm interested. It was heartening to hear. I'm interested to see if Rhaenyra can kind of bridge on the heels of that comment, whether Rhaenyra can bridge this maybe clearer view, more complete view of what it would mean to try to make your policy basically how Viserys ran the kingdom, while still holding on to the actual important lessons invoked, as we talked about, by Helaena in this episode, of like, let's mind our histories, something, dragons, illusions of control, etc. We've talked about it. Like,
yada,
she shouldn't...
Yada, yada, Legos.
Yada, yada, Legos. She shouldn't lose sight of that part of it. That would be worrying.
Yeah, no baby with the bathwater.
Exactly. And then Mysaria's like, I know what you need, baby. You're poised for victory. It's going to be kind of familiar language. This is what Daemon said. It was real like, empire and our children will rule it forever and a day. Don't worry, you're going to be queen. Your kids, they're going to rule. Do you think I'm worthy? In this moment, my queen, Rhaenyra.
Familiar.
I have never
familiar in a better way than in the arm grab in the hallway.
Yes, this is intimacy.
Yeah.
And proximity of a welcome form. And then they fuck. She kind of like, sexily pushes her down on the chaise. I gotta say, I thought we were gonna get a little more in this scene than we got. Oh well.
That's the dragon chaster show than Game of Thrones was, right?
I mean, no question. Yeah, no question. We got a lot of Gold Cloak Dong earlier this season. Obviously, we had Battles of the Pleasure Den. We've had some stuff. Let's head to Harrenhal.
Why not?
Alicent, Aemond, Alys, incest, dreams. It's all happening.
Very weird for them to describe it as a love triangle inside the episode. Did you not think so?
Alicent is Aemond's mother.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it once again, perhaps a hinge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no reciprocity from Alicent to Aemond. So let's
Correct.
be clear.
Only in his dreams. That's the first real this is a dream and not reality clue, is that our boy Aemond slides right in. Mom was ready and waiting. Fantasy.
Our listener Maria wrote in to say, not Aemond practicing with Blackfire like a Westerosi George Michael Bluth and his lightsaber.
Incredible. Westerosi George Michael Bluth is just elite. Great shit. Guys, stop us if you've heard this before. Targaryen's second son, who is holed up at Harrenhal, is dreaming of fucking his mom. And the similarities are pretty detailed and specific. Carlos, can we see this clip?
If only you'd been born first. My favorite son. How could I forsake my best and truest son? The city has fallen, Aemond. You're all I have left.
I really admire the series-long Daemon comps, not only extending to Harrenhal mommy incest dreams, but specifically to you're my best and favorite boy.
Was that a fun clip to play right on the heels of me being like, this show isn't as horny as Game of Thrones?
That's right.
Well, we should say that like when they, whatever. When Aemond and Alicent tumble into bed and then later it's Alys.
Yes.
It's still not the like people keep their clothes on in this show.
Yeah.
It's not it's not the same thing that Thrones was. And I don't know, for better or for worse. I don't know.
We get the subtler version here. Alys saying later, you Targaryen boys all want the same thing, don't you? To fuck your mom. Tells us all we need to know. I was slightly disturbed in this episode by how tenderly I felt toward Aemond, given what we were witnessing in this episode. Just thought he was quite sweet.
Was it his horror at finding out he wasn't fucking his mom that
that's
made you
what
feel?
Did it. Yeah, that's what did it.
Can I please read this sentence you wrote into this work document?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Aemond is pulled out, phrasing, of this werewood fantasy by Alys, draining that dragon jizz spout, proclaiming in this moment I will give you a son.
Uh-huh. And is that not what happened? bought the lie, as the kids
Dragon
say.
jizz spout.
Yeah, he was in the peak of his pleasure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She wants the dragon seed. What can we say? We're just covering the show that they give us. I got a real, in this moment, I will give you a son when we flip out of the dream into Alys on top there. Real, like, Melisandre Stannis
Yeah,
vibes.
my question is,
I will give you a son, my king.
Is she gonna make smoke babies?
That's the thing. What do we, is whatever's going to happen
my
here
God.
be of like the magical variant?
If Alys,
What do you think?
If Alys makes a smoke baby, I'm gonna lose my mind. It'll be very exciting.
Smokey ruled, so that would be pretty fun.
I know, and all that dragon's blood,
Be great. Be great.
all that king's blood. That's what I meant to say, but dragon's blood also.
Well, one and the same, you know. Aemond shuffles off. He's very spooked.
Because he's like, oh no, I'm not fucking my mom.
Devastating.
It's a consenting woman I'm not related to. How weird.
And then he, stumbling through the hallways, and then there she is, Alicent, wearing, as you noted.
The exact same clothing.
So what is your read on the magic that we're witnessing here?
Right. Is this
what
an Alys
Harrenhal-
glamour?
Yeah.
Is this... I don't know. She, when he walks away from her, when he's like, ew, you're not my mom.
She's
and
like,
like,
what
walks
have
away,
you seen?
She's like, what have you
Yeah.
seen? And in a way that like, I don't think she's lying.
I thought we moved from uncertainty there into the certainty later of her saying she's trying to hurt you.
Right. And
Yeah.
so, but like, what have you seen?
Yeah.
Tells me that wasn't Alys
Right.
wearing an
Right.
Alicent glamour. That was
The werewood paste and
Aemond, like
roots.
his brain elsewhere. Alys having sex with him, thinking he's present, maybe, and
Mhm.
he's not. His brain is in a different
Yeah.
plane, having sex with his mom. Oops.
Right.
And then she's just like,
Yeah.
What did you see?
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah. She's like, at least when Daemon snapped too, he was having dinner, not fucking me.
He was eating.
He sure was. He sure was.
But I think that, so I think Aemond ingesting werewood ayahuasca or
Yeah.
sleeping in the werewood bed, werewood tree bed or whatever the
Yes.
case may be,
Mhm.
Harrenhal is sending him
Yes.
some shit. And, but some of it is like, he saw his mother arrive.
Like the near term prophecy of that imminent
Mhm.
arrival down to, as we'll get to in a subsequent scene, like the mirroring of cupping his face,
Mhm.
saying, you're all I have left, which when that happens in the next sequence, he like shakes her off and is so disturbed because it is beat for beat what he just witnessed.
It was funny because I was like, oh no, when this was unfolding and I was watching this episode, I was like, oh no, how is Alicent going to execute her assassination plan? There's no way he's going to trust her after he was spooked by this dream.
Mhm.
But then he kind of did.
Yeah.
Pretty easily.
Well, he loves her and wants to fuck her.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me tell you that I made you your favorite childhood drink so that you feel my love, and then I'm going to poison you. Very tough.
It's not warm milk. It's spiced wine.
I know. He really regressed into the warm milk later in life. He, on your what is he receiving from the Harrenhal, the magic of Harrenhal front, he does give another donation
Of
to
blood.
of blood in this
Red Fort
episode.
blood.
Yeah, Red Fort blood in the Godswood, right into the roots yet again. So Aemond is making his deposits and being rewarded by
His deposits. So he uses the dagger of prophecy here. Our listener, Allison, wrote in about, this is actually more about like what Orwell heard at the small council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And Sabbath Frey and Torrin Manderley,
Sure.
as Mallory noted. Allison wrote, what is more likely? So the question we've been asking from the beginning, just a refresher, is how does the Song of Ice and Fire, the prophecy of Aegon Targaryen, make its way to Rhaegar Targaryen, who is the key person to whom it is downloaded in the continuity of the Game of Thrones story?
Mhm.
Is it past, like, because we've been, because of certain things that happen along the Targaryen line, we're just like, did this go cleanly down the line?
Right.
Was it lost somewhere and recovered? Certainly the Dagger of Prophecy was lost somewhere. Along the way. And so Allison said, what is more likely? Rhaegar accidentally reading the cat's paw dagger after Gandalfing it out of the fire. Take it. It's quite cool. Or finding someone like Frey or Manderley's diary and reading about the crazy shit Daemon said in a council meeting. We know they love a good gossip sesh, and really, who doesn't? After all, the quote is about Rhaegar, quote, he found something in his scrolls,
Right.
end quote. Which we've been assuming for 4 years means the dagger.
Yes.
But what if it actually was a scroll or record? Now, I know there's the Orwell of it all, but here's where we connect my crackpot theory to other crackpot theories. There's this Grand Maester conspiracy idea. I think it's fair to say outside of the spoiler section, this idea that, like, was it the Maesters who sort of are ultimately responsible for there being no dragons by the time that Daenerys Targaryen is born.
Mhm.
Because we know there are no dragons at some point, and no dragons by the time Dunk and Egg are there. No
Yep.
dragons, so that's not a spoiler.
Just puppets.
Just saying. That's not a spoiler.
Right.
There are no dragons. So there's this like crackpot theory that the Maesters were somehow involved in that, the Grand Maester conspiracy sort of thing.
Yep.
Orwell is a Maester, so if he's one of the Maesters working to take down the Targs, then of course he wouldn't record a prophecy about how essential the Targs are to the world, because if that info got out, then people would want to keep all those blondes around.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Was Orwell not a source in Fire and Blood because of the
That
Maester
requires
conspiracy?
That assumes that that's true, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That the Maester conspiracy is true?
Yeah.
Yeah, which you don't buy into.
I don't think the show should be putting a scene like that out into the world, assuming that everyone will receive it in a logical, coherent fashion because they all believe the Grand Maester dragon death conspiracy.
And then what do you think about
what about
the
that
idea that
rando
Rhaegar,
cupbearer?
What do you think about Rhaegar reading XOXO Gossip Girl Torrin Manderly's account of what happened at the small council meeting?
That is certainly fun to think about, and the idea that somebody else jotted something down and then it made it to Rhaegar. I feel like based on what we have received in this show, the dagger is still the most likely scroll stand-in, but mostly because like the disconnect, and some of this is just the nature of gardening and tending the garden.
I also just don't think there's enough information on the dagger to convey the fullness.
There was a decent amount when Viserys and Rhaenyra put it in the little
hold on
brazier thing, however you pronounce that word, and lit it. I don't know. I just Fire and Blood, the Orwell thing aside, too many accounts from too many sources make their way into Fire and Blood.
From my blood comes the prince that was promised,
Yeah.
and with it the will of ice and fire. What the fuck does that mean if you don't have other information? The will of ice and fire? What does that mean?
The will of ice and fire?
Yeah.
From my blood comes the prince that was promised is like Rhaegar's line, though.
But what does that mean?
Maybe he went and found some other facts from Torrin Manderly.
From a scroll.
Yeah. I just don't see how if those scrolls exist, they don't make it. It's a sloppy scene. No one will convince me otherwise. I'm standing on my take here. Sorry. It doesn't make sense that Daemon said that in front of that many people. It's nuts. It's not a logical thing for the character to have done. And as you noted, it's not logical for nobody to ask a follow-up question. It just isn't. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
You think it makes sense?
I don't disagree. I think it's interesting to think about.
Sure. If Orwell was working for the Grand Maester conspiracy, and one day the show clarifies that for us, I'll happily recant the take. Happily. When Aemond stabs Harwin Week right through the chin, gross. It's like, sorry, Mom, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I can't have strangers know about it. Alys is obviously horrified. Or Alicent is obviously horrified. Their names are very similar, deliberately. And then Alys comes out and she's like, let's have dinner. And not since Edith, Cyril, and Dedra and Andor have I been so rapt watching an awkward dinner as I was watching this scene. This was incredible. Alys is kind of testing Alicent about the cover story of, the road's dangerous. Maybe this also primes us for a fraught road back from Alicent. We mentioned on Talk of Thrones.
You're like, if she's like, it was just the two of us.
Right. Yeah. And there were other people in the
actually
escort at the end of the prior episode. So are they waiting? Are they hiding? Will she
They're
find
just down
them?
the road behind a tree.
Maybe. There are a lot of trees there.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of rubble.
It's like when Ulf and Hugh and Adam are hiding just around the corner at the God's Eye with 3 dragons.
Exactly.
That's where the men
like
are.
That. Maybe they're in exactly that spot.
Yeah.
Alicent's like, tell me about your meet cute. And Aemond says, she saved my life. At whose behest, your lords? And Alys says, baller, I generally follow my own dictates. Incredible stuff.
And Alys is like, what?
I still don't understand who this woman is. She is a lady and a maester of sorts. Stark contrast, that description, Aemond's of Alys, to what Daemon said in the Harrenhal handwave sequence, right? The crown is not in the habit of giving out castles to midwives. And is midwife the sum of what you think I am? Once again, getting what she needs out of Aemond in a way that she didn't with Aemond.
Well, yeah. They weren't consummating their weird dynamic. Let's Listen, here's a question I have. How much of Alicent's like, I mean, she's frustrated and she's flustered and she's like, God, I got to pivot on this like assassination plan. And what do I do? And all of this. But like, how much is her of her fluster comes from Alys saying, I do what I want. And Alicent being like,
I've
never heard
had
of
that
it.
experience. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Jealous?
What are you talking about?
Jealousy in both directions for different reasons is tantalizing, certainly, you know? And they're all, as always, like completely destabilized by their dynamics because Aemond goes from this position of real confidence, kind of fun in Harrenhal, this house of visions. He's almost like dispensing prophecies when he's talking about Rhaenyra's baseborn riders and how she'll certainly fail and a new dawn is coming, a new line of unsullied kings. But then he's got to throw a temper tantrum and pout when Alys is like, we need wood, right? Cast his plate aside. So they're moving in and out of these different circumstances of kind of like behavior.
But also, Aemond.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy corner. Let's come live here, okay?
Sure.
The baseborn dragon riders, right? He's fucking a woman that he's not married to. So like Aemond was like high on his horse about the strong boys, right? The bastards, right?
Yeah.
Oh, son's a bastard, right? Like he's so like if Alys is pregnant and they're not married, that's a bastard, right?
But he calls her a lady, you know?
Did they get married?
Maybe.
Who was their witness?
The butter
blind butter churner?
Yeah.
The blind butter churner?
What if it was the goat?
Is he not a Targ Tower? Does he not want to get married under the, like, you know, the old, the
This
the
is
religion?
part of being under Alys's thrall, is to see things differently.
This is what I'm saying. Like, so he's siring bastards off a woman of dubious parentage.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's just sort of like, I'm for it.
Of course.
But I've never been the one running around being a Targ supremacist.
Well,
so, you know.
He's benefiting from Harrenhal therapy, as you said. Even like the way it's definitely weird when he says to his mother,
Unsullied kings?
I mean, sure. Yeah. Wow.
Unsullied kings born off of this. Again, I love Alys. I love that she's a witch. I love everything about her. She should have children if she wants or not if she doesn't. But like unsullied kings, what are you talking about?
Even just the saying that we'll raise our throne here in the mud, like leaning in and embracing the muck of it all. The moment with Alicent when he was like, you takes her hand, you know, and you have something left to give still. I got real like, if Aegon the Conqueror could have, two sister wives, why can't I have my Maester Lady wife and my mommy wife?
Mom wife.
Like that was like, you could give me
that's what I felt.
A son vibes too. And then the fact that it was on the evolution of Aemond front, that's a real contrast to the dismissal when he became regent, when he cast her out of the council.
I really disagree.
Like, you have nothing left to give.
I really disagree because he's like, you have nothing politically here. And here he's like, your womb. I forgot your womb is still ripe.
He did say in that scene, you have go domestic pursuits.
Because they have cast sons who are the same age as Olivia Cook.
Very strange. Despite the distinction between the domestic and the political. Because you're right, he's not embracing her mind here.
No.
It is still like he's
not, come be my hand of the king.
No,
No.
But he is like, I need you. And in the Regent, he was in such a pit of insecurity that he was like, anyone who knows me. Kristen, who knew me and saw what I did, gone. Harrenhal. My mother, who knows me and knows my unique qualities, cast out, right?
Here's my other question. Do you think Alicent, when she heard like this idea of Alys getting pregnant or whatever, she's like, she's like, do I have to kill her too? You know, because like if Helena's pregnancy is a threat to throne, it reminded me of the one of my favorite lines in Almost Famous when Firuza Balk, who gives real Alys energy, by the way, when she's talking about the new Band-Aids, the new groupies, and she says they don't use birth control and they eat all the steak. I really feel like that's like Alys is just like, can my son stop fucking women and putting inconvenient airs in them? I would appreciate it. I'm trying to murder people.
But she doesn't actually care about that. That's Rhaenyra's outcome. She's just there to execute it so she can say, I did the thing you wanted.
I know, but then Rhaenyra catches
free.
wind from Jane Eyre's dogs or whoever that Alys is pregnant.
They're always barking.
If Alys is pregnant with Aemond's baby, she'll be like, another to your list. Alicent, hie thee hence to Harrenhal and kill someone else.
What reason does Alicent have to believe that any pledge from Rhaenyra at this point will be honored?
Well, then why is she trying to honor this one?
I agree. I didn't think it made sense that she sent her and that she went. None of that made sense to me in episode 6. It was part of what didn't work for me about episode 6. That said, as I said on Sunday, these scenes did really work for me. Mm-hmm. I think that when sometimes a story is engineering an outcome in a way that doesn't make sense, that's like frustrating. The scenes we got as a result, like clearly that decision was made so that Helaena and Rhaenyra could have their sequences without Alicent present, and so that we could get these Alicent, Aemond, Alys moments. Those scenes all worked and were all good. Does it feel completely right to me still that Rhaenyra made the choice to send Alicent to do this, and that Alicent, even trapped Helaena, held as hostage leverage as she was, went and actually tried to do it? Like, no, not really. But the scenes worked.
Well, I guess I would slightly push back on your question of like, how could Alicent believe that Rhaenyra would keep any promise? I think she has to tell herself that there is some chance in her desperation. She has to believe that there is some chance that if she does this, Rhaenyra will let them go.
And I think that
she's using her logical brain, of course not, but she's using her desperation back in the corner. Oops, we trapped ourselves in a tunnel and didn't get anywhere brain, you know?
Totally. And I think even the question I was posing earlier, like, why not maybe like give it a go with Aemond here? There's the Alicent's own voice in my head from the Sept scene in season 2, like, it's too late, Rhaenyra. And to be pulled out of that, try to make a pledge together, and then kind of fall back into it feels very human. And certainly her window in the wall of her prison is shrinking, not like burst wide open.
Right. Whereas Alys is like, never been in a prison in my life, babe. Never heard of walls.
Or has she been imprisoned in this human form the whole time? The little barn owl pet.
The barn owl.
Little barn owl
pet. When Alys is like, I don't think the climate agrees with your mother.
Great stuff.
I really felt that because you know what? She's got those curls and they would probably frizz in Harrenhal where it's always raining.
Send her back to Old Town.
So I feel like real girl's girl energy.
Yeah, for
She's
sure.
Like, babe, you don't want to stay here.
For sure.
Your hair is gonna frizz out.
Incredible stuff. Aemond, we need wood. It was just so entertaining. It really was. It was great. The wood pile.
My future work did not include your mother. Actually,
I really that was an amazing scene because she's like, my designs. Just again, much like the comps across character sets, like I'm telling you the thing I'm doing, but it feels good and it's what you want in a way, so you'll let me do it. Like the Mysaria, Rhaenyra comp. I do enjoy that the woodpile is where Alys invoked Daemon's mommy fucking dreams last season. It felt good to be back there. She warns Aemond to be cautious, and he's like, enough of your nonsense. She's my blood. Which is fascinating given what Aemond has done to his blood. Like, why would that matter? As Alys says, why would it matter? But this is a guy who...
Again, you have to believe.
Like, ate Luke and had his dragon eat Luke. Didn't want to, regretted it, but burned his brother.
He's dying to believe that his mother thinks he's her number one boy.
Yep.
She comes in, she's like, no hot milk, spice wine for you.
Yep.
And he like... says,
this is all I wanted.
I'm really sorry about Aegon. Like, I feel really bad about it. And so this is, once again, Harrenhal therapy. It works.
I found this very sad.
Both Aemond and Daemon, saying sorry, saying please, saying, I feel bad about this.
Yes.
I've done all this shit and I feel bad about it. We are characters on mirrored arcs. Have you noticed?
Yes. Well, but Aemond has been more repentant the whole time. It just hasn't helped.
Not the whole time, just like
in and out of it.
When mommy figures are around that he might want to fuck.
Exactly.
He's really ready to open up.
Potentially near a bosom, then he can say, I do feel sorry about that.
Bosom.
Business with Luke.
Except she was paying attention when Helaena gave her botany lessons.
That's right.
She has poisoned the spice wine. So this is the payoff of the Nightshade.
That's right.
That we were curious about.
I had no idea how that was.
We had some theories in the
off.
spoiler section. We were wrong. We had no idea this was coming. Gives him the spice wine.
She does still like look very meaningfully at the dagger though. The cat's
She's like,
dagger.
What the fuck does that cat's paw dagger say?
From
my blood comes
a
prince
minds.
that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire. What does that mean? And then he's like, Mother, and by mother I mean Alys, and he's like, help me again. Once again, stumbling at her feet.
Yes.
Once again,
the comedy of
in her hand, and she's like, you idiot. Let me go to my.
She's got it. Very unconcerned. Very unconcerned.
My antidote table. But will he not be all the more bonded to her? She was right.
Mm-hmm.
Alicent's leaving. He's going to be all the more putty in Alys's hands now.
No question. Yeah.
This is how cult leaders work. They isolate you from your family.
I mean, Alys would be wonderful.
Oh, sign me up. Day one.
Very powerful. Aegon.
Baptism by fire.
My
your
goodness.
favorite.
Just thought these scenes were great. Dynamite. So first, the return to Rook's Rest. Our boys are out on horses. And the road is blocked, Joe. A little comedy before this with the Valentine wine bit. I loved this. If you mean to console me for this folly, Tylen's like, did. I've seen the monkeys. I've mud wrestled. I have fucked admiral wives. A little Valentine wine is not going to compel me to say this is a good idea, but Aegon is steadfast. The masses start blocking the road with word that the mutants are coming. Initially, Aegon's like, how could they have heard of me? And then we realize, Tylen. Corlys's tip put into action.
Though we never saw the handoff of the information.
No. So this happened quickly.
This is the payoff of that weird line where Corlys is like, BT dubs.
Yes.
Tylen has been seen near Rook's Rest, so Rhaenyra sent some folks to go get Tylen to hopefully get the money.
That's right. Our boys come across Tom Tangletongue, our guy, and he shares the Tylen and gold specific detail. And then Larys is like, Tylen, here's what you should do. You should turn yourself over.
Yep.
You should turn yourself over. And Tylen's like, she's going to flay me. And Larys is like, yeah, no doubt. That was the best part. He didn't try to die. He's like, yeah, but it's the right thing to do for your king. Just no shame from Larys, which is great stuff. And Aegon's like, you guys are free to go. Do what you must. But I am going to stay. I'm going to make my stand. I'm going to be buried as a king with my dragon. I will not have the history say that I was slain in ignominy by my own brothers. So this is Aegon's own little version of they will sing songs about it, right?
Yeah.
Tylen stays.
Larys departs.
Where are you on your boy Larys right now?
I mean, his survival instincts are just top notch. Aegon's a piece of shit, so why would I try to get myself murdered for Aegon? There's
Loyalty.
No reason to. It reminded me, so when he says, like, it will be my duty to see that the King Aegon is remembered, his heroic last hours immortalized through story and song, your grace, this line that you keep quoting, which is amazing.
It's just so funny.
It reminded me of this line from one of my favorite musicals, Into the Woods, when there's a giant stomping around in the forest and Cinderella's stepmother is, like, running away and the other characters are like, what the fuck are you doing? And Cinderella's stepmother says, some people are cut out to battle giants and others are not. I don't have the constitution. And as long as I can be of no help, I'm going to hide. Everything will work out fine in the end. It was like classic Larys. So just like, some people are built for this. I am not. And as long as I can't help, I'm gonna hide. Bye.
Incredible. Very on brand. Also, like, appealing to Aegon. What Aegon actually voiced to him a little bit in season 2 during their bonding sequences. This, like, Aegon, the realm's delight. Like, the desire to be remembered fondly. Larys knows that that's important to Aegon. And so the spin job of positioning it that way, I'm abandoning you. But in order to ensure the outcome that you want.
They'll sing songs about you. Don't worry.
A masterclass, honestly.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Very amusing when Tylen's sellswords are like, we're out. Just kind of ride off. They don't even say bye. No big speeches from them.
I'm just actually, like, quite surprised that Tylen stuck around.
Yeah. It was fascinating.
Like, it's just a really interesting thing for him to do.
It is. We've always been Team Tylen Lannister here on this podcast.
Have
Literally never. Not until we were like, he looks pretty hot taking a grave. That was the first time. It happened quickly. Life comes at you fast.
I was like, that guy's definitely dead. And now I'm like, interesting. Moral fiber.
It is fun that, the choice that Aegon made last week to side with Larys, to go to Essos, we were really processing that as intended, as Tylen failed the test, right? That Larys passed of, like, I'll tell you the truth.
But
so immediately for Tylen to be like, I'm the one who will stand with you it was surprising. Sunfire. Little bonfire for 2. Aegon, Tylen, hanging out. Campfire looked lovely, honestly. And then the Mutants arrive. And we have been, I think it is fair to say, impatiently waiting.
Frustrated.
Talking pod after pod in the spoiler section since post Rook's Rest. So middle of season 2.
It's not a storytelling issue. We just didn't know how to talk about a dragon that we definitely knew was still alive. And the show was like...
And genuinely, we were like, how long is this going to remain a mystery? And the answer was a season and a half.
I mean, Chris earlier was like, there's no way Sunfire is still alive. What are you guys talking about? Like, we didn't spoil it for him, but we were like being cagey about it. And he's like, no, that dragon's dead. It's been so long. Napping. We did get an email from Jonathan who said, first of all, Sunfire ate those carnies was a subject line. Great. Sunfire was dragon napping or maybe brumating like real world reptiles, which is a word I learned.
New to me.
But reptiles, I guess, will sort of like, that's their version of hibernating. When he woke up, he had to be hungry, so he roasted those carnies who were selling dragon rides for a coin. I hope so.
I hope he ate those guys. Burned them and ate them. I hope he crisped them up.
But
Real
yeah,
good.
Sunfire was just sort of like chilling, woken up by true love's kiss, by Aegon murmuring to him, perhaps.
Aegon, he knew. He felt it. My boy, I'm here, right? He's alive.
Was
the only believer.
Was it the Janus blood on the scale that sort of woke him up,
Aegon's kingly stand here?
Hmm.
I won't cower and run and hide.
Van was telling me earlier that Kalika cried, which I love this story, that Kalika cried when Sunfire showed up. Like that at first it was this, like, is it Vhagar? Is it like what's happening here? It could have been Vhagar. That's
sure.
like if people were watching, they're like, oh my God, Vhagar, who's been missing,
Yes.
long in the missing, has shown up to like help Aegon or something like that. No, it is
Or burn him.
the golden boy himself.
Sweet Sunfire are twins now with their twin burns and injuries. The way that Aegon, before he hears Sunfire, and he heard him less quickly than everyone else, he was very much committed to his
One of his
feats.
ears is melted.
That's true. He has a whole great, we talked about on Talk of the Thrones, this kind of second coronation, the mirroring images of the arms. Why? But even the way he's describing himself, titling and styling himself, right?
It was also making me think of Daenerys arms thrown
Sure.
wide
Yeah,
with
yeah,
her 3 baby dragons, the first Dracarys.
Absolutely. The thing he says at the end of this declaration is the through line of this episode. Obviously, in many ways, also the series, because it dates back to Alicent and Rhaenyra and the eye for an eye scene. Now they see you as you truly are. For now you see me as I truly am. Dreadful in vengeance, righteous and glorious. Similar language will be invoked in the Aemond Ulf conversation at the end of the episode. So this is very much an episode for like, what is the true version of me? What do I do with that? How do people receive it? The 2 golden princes,
but it's just so funny.
Now melted.
I know, but it's so funny to watch this scene because, in George fashion, in whatever fashion, it's such a demented, twisted version of this because, like, the Mad King Aerys vibes coming off of him in this sequence, which we'll watch in a second, is undeniable. But it's just sort of like, if people are following Aegon on the road, and Condell said this behind the scene, like, people will be surprised by how much they're rooting for Aegon here. And we've talked about this. We're like, character on an arc, growth, stuff like that.
Chris on Talk to the Thrones was like, I'm in.
I'm not. I have not forgotten what Aegon has done. Absolutely. But it's just sort of like, and then he just like murders a bunch of people. Do you know what I mean? So this great power that the Dragon House has been given, this unbeatable weapon. We got a great email from a listener who was comparing sort of like Kristen Cole's last stand to Aegon's last stand and what's like all the comps between them. The fact that they were like both scarred at Rook's Rest in their own way, both had to sort of like travel incognito without, the power and support they were used to having, and both took this sort of like absolutely demented, fine, I'll go out and sort of a blaze of glory stand. But Aegon has this dragon weapon, but he is not worthy of a WMD.
He's a mess. I thought this sequence was thrilling to watch, but ultimately terrifying.
No, I don't think we disagree. I'm just saying, like, it's so interesting that he's rewarded in this moment with this, like, dragons, and this has just been true across the board, but like, these absolute assholes have dragons.
It's very dangerous. Viserys was right. Team Viserys.
Ormond was right too. I said it.
Yeah, I mean, the Ormond is, it's interesting because the way that he is positioning the conversation with Ulf is like weaponizing that idea of like who you truly are, right? He's using it to work this guy and say, oh, the tools, we talked about the tool idea earlier with Rhaenyra and Baela and her dragon riders. And like, Ormond's using everybody as a tool. He's trying to use Ulf as a tool too. He's just more tactful about it.
Do you know what's great about his piece on the board? It's a dragon.
It sure is. The dragon math, like you said earlier, has some updates here, like, with Sunfire emerging.
Just thinking about Darren and Ormond playing their Game of Savas, and just sort of like, he's like, my piece on the board.
The only thing he respects about the Targaryens is the strength. So if he can use it, he will to beat them. That's his plan. I thought with the instantaneous, like the way that Aegon thinks, oh, they're scared of me, they're cowering from me, and then he realizes it's Sunfire. And that there's no beat or pause. It's instant. Sunfire, Dracarys. And then the kind of maniacal, euphoric, cackling glee, which we'll watch in a second. You said Mad King Ares. Like, this is such, I think, really, I've enjoyed Aegon's arc, but this was like not just I have a path forward and I'll use my power. It was such a like, whatever kind of moral progress we think we're watching, we have backslid into the, I want to say this is who I truly am and what I think I am. But this is dreadful, and vengeance is what we saw. It's just disturbing.
The Ulf, no, they'll burn.
They'll burn with the
sly little smile.
Smile. Carlos, can we see Aegon very chill, calm, normal reaction to burning the mutant army? I mean, it was an exciting television scene. I'm concerned.
Yeah, their matching faces was really, really good.
That was great. Sweet Sunfire, welcome back, buddy.
Sunfire. I really liked I don't know if that was supposed to be a particular mutant or just head of the group. I thought
I was like, is that our guy Wallace?
Yeah, I thought that guy was like pretty great. Tom Carney talking about how he lost his voice and vomited after doing this scene. Great stuff.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
He's amazing. Also, he only has 8 takes in him.
Yeah.
Little nugget in the House of Dragons book, because he's like, this is going to require a lot.
In advance.
Yeah. I can't do this that many times. It's amazing. We've talked about on the book tweak front that Sunfire in the book, we know he's alive. The garrison, like, bringing him food, and then he does roast the mutants. That part's canon, but the tweak of like, so then he's gone, and it's known that he's gone.
It's a mystery though. Like, it's clear that he's like flown away because there's no footprints. So like,
where and with whom and
we
how?
don't know where Sunfire has gone.
Right.
We in the show know that Sunfire's with Aegon.
That's right. And I was asking on Talk the Thrones, like, do we think any member of that army escaped the blaze? In the trailer that they showed for the finale, characters are just like, Aegon's return.
All right.
So I guess that's known, which is, I mean, Sunfire's escape would be known no matter what, obviously. Dead dragon, then he's gone.
But like, oops, Rhaenyra, you lied about Aegon being dead. Good job.
Interesting stuff. Tumbleton. We've hit a lot of this already. Gawain does provide the helpful update that the Winter Wolves are 20,000 strong, a day's march out.
Really devastating to see Kristen Cole's fake head still wearing the Gawain Hightower matching boyfriend mud makeup, the stripes.
Yeah.
Tough
one for old Chrissy there. I thought it was very sad to see Gawain learn about Kristen's death. Ormond could not have given less of a shit. And probably
Darren was very nice about it.
Darren was incredibly kind about it, offered his sympathy, which was very touching. Darren and Gawain, wonderful characters, wonderful pairing. Ormond says at the beginning of this episode, I have a piece on the board. Bring the bitch to her knees. And Gawain and Darren are trying to puzzle out what this means and who it's about. Is it Corlys? They don't know about Ulf. This is a secret. It's a reveal at the end of the episode. They don't have this information. The comments, like at the dinner sequence with Corlys, very interesting to watch Darren push back on because,
how's that going to help us, though?
Yeah, Ormond's like, okay, your queen doesn't give enough of a shit for me to use you as a hostage to work her. But the Velaryon men, maybe I'll keep them out of King's Landing. We hear very quickly elsewhere in the episode, Alan gives the count that the Velaryons are a day out of King's Landing. So the idea of keeping that reinforcement at bay, okay, Darren saying, how's that going to help with the Winter Wolves at our gate? And then Gawain voicing something very similar later when he and Darren are debriefing. There's this interesting aspect of like, is this hubris on Ormond's part to be thinking that far ahead, taking for granted that he has the Tumbleton edge? Or is this why he is actually a step ahead, because he is able to think in beyond just the one thing in front of him that feels most urgent to everybody else? Like, I mean, it's kind of interesting.
He's working both, right? Because he's like using Corlys to continue to chip away and which is tremendously effective. His campaign in King's Landing, tremendously effective. Yeah. So continuing that undermining from inside of King's Landing while also wooing Ulf on the ridge.
It is sort of like he's continuing the King's Landing. Gawain and Darren are like, we're we have no hope. Like, we're dead. It's
Yeah.
a wrap. So Aemond is like assuming victory by continuing to plan outside of Tumbleton. Given how much we talk about Targaryen hubris, that feels interesting. But again, it's like,
But also, like, why would you stop?
right. Yeah. So I like
If
kind
you're
of
like, I
admire
have
the-
a chance
Yeah.
because I have
Yeah.
Silverwing and she's a goer.
She's a goer. She's a goer.
Come on, gal.
Corlys covering the wine cup. Make you think of Roose, our guy Roose Bolton.
But also Corlys at the beginning of the series when
That's
he's in the
right.
small council.
Yeah. Don't poison me here, Ormond, but
Yeah.
also like head clear.
Yeah.
Head clear. What did you make of not only Ormond's comments on his diet, vegetable kingdom, slicing a pear, real Anakin Skywalker stuff with the pear. I bet Ormond also hates sand, by the way. But his his pitch here to Corlys, which is an interesting mix of why limit yourself in tedious alliance to the brutish and the incurious.
Mhm.
In general, his pitch is framed perhaps effectively to a legacy-obsessed character like Corlys, albeit, as we've talked about a lot, one on an arc who has made a lot of progress in that respect, and certainly a character who has had his issues with Rhaenyra. But having the record scratch real-time moment where Ormond has to be like, right, yeah, oh yeah, your wife. And it's like, okay, yeah, your kids, your grandkids, they're dragon riders. House Velaryon is from Valeria. The Valarians have a lot in common with the High Towers in terms of their financial might and achievement. The second son speech from Corlys to Daemon, there's a lot of connective tissue there. Corlys's problems with Rhaenyra are not the same as House Velaryon rejecting the Targaryen supremacy.
But I think Ormond is sort of trying to float the idea maybe you should.
Yeah. What do you think? Does it feel like an effective pitch?
I don't know. Corlys is a bit of a brick wall across the board here. Yeah. I would like to go back to this sort of quasi-vegetarian stance from Ormond.
Sure.
On our ongoing question of whether or not Ormond has ever been in the position to produce heirs, I would like to present with you this evidence. I do wonder how something so slippery in substance can truly be benign. Do we think Ormond has ever encountered a woman undressed?
I do not.
Was that funny at all to you?
I did quite.
That's the joke I wrote down 4 times.
I enjoyed it.
I told Mallory before, I was like, I took notes 4 times. So I watched the episode 4 times, and each time I was like, is that what this is about?
And ooh, country PT.
And Mallory's like, what if I don't think it's funny?
I loved it. I always like a vagina joke. You know that. Come on. Know your audience, and you do. That one was always going to work on me. I loved it.
That's why I wrote it down 4 times.
Oh my God. Great stuff. Great stuff. Finger slice makes its way to Alan. Lovely little box that finger came in. Beautiful.
I mean, it's always a finger in the box, I gotta say.
Great signet ring. Darren and Gawain contemplating the future. This was a great scene.
I like the way they're shot. I talked a lot about the way in which this show uses architecture to either cage people in or sort of make them look free. Alys has been a real, Alicent has been a real sort of example of this. The way they're shot, there's just a bunch of intricately carved wooden screens all around them. They look so hemmed in here.
Yeah.
I
But
thought it was
also
really-
the ability, the way that when Darren calls Ormond a madman and Gawain's like, shh. It's like there's, it's not a solid soundproof room. You're always on display too.
Yeah.
It's a kind of
These came from Cost Plus World Market. They're not soundproof. maybe Pure One imports.
Incredible stuff. I quite liked what we saw from Darren here in terms of
Our goodest boy.
Our goodest boy, and emboldened Darren. His relationship to the idea of
Darren?
being Darren, being king, is something he's thinking about in a new way here. Not, no, he's just using me, or no, I can never be. It's what kind of king would I be if because Gawain's like, you could fly on Tessarion. You could survive this. It's like, what kind of king would I be if I did that, if I left my men? I have no fear of insignificance, Gawain. Rhaenyra may keep her crown for all I care, and Gawain smiles. First of all, I think this is a moment, we've talked a lot about the tragedy of Alicent thinking Darren had a better life and then seeing what he was subjected to with Ormond. But this actually is a little bit of a, maybe being away from the Red Keep was good and helped him.
Good head on his shoulders.
Yeah. And also just Gawain and Darren as 2 truly rare characters who maybe don't want endless war and bloodshed and aren't just saying that, but actually mean it. And want something god.
Versus Aemond, versus, of course, Aemond and Aegon, who both in this episode are like, you shall have a queen more terrible and whatever as the dawn. And then Rhaenyra as well, So like
so funny.
So like I don't fear insignificance versus all the comments about like being lost in the dust.
Yeah.
And just sort of like Darren's like, okay, so what?
And what does power do to you? What does your dragon do to you? What even Mysaria, do you want to be near the throne? Your silks. Like Darren's like, I just like, what if I don't
fly?
I want to eat cake. Rhaenyra had it right from the jump.
Yeah.
From the jump. The elf reveal.
Okay, I loved
Take
this.
me through it.
Okay, incredible. First of all, and I talked about this on Talk of Thrones, but the portable, incense
So good.
burners. Incredible shit.
It's also such a dunk on Ulf because like they're out in the open air and Armin's like, this guy probably still smells like shit.
Absolutely. And also he hates the smell of dragons. Silver Wing's right by there. She's a lady, but she's still a dragon. I do think it's interesting to have seen all of the dragon technical stuff that they did in this episode. I did get a real flat when Raleigh Earlham, who's the sort of stunt supervisor, is that his role? When he started talking about burning people, I was like, oh my God, I had a flashback to watching the behind the scenes from Field of Fire. And then they literally showed the footage of it. But I was literally sitting there like 10 years of my life watching this guy talk about burning people. Here we are again.
Like, we did 20. We're going to do 23.
It's like, here we are again.
Yeah.
All that stuff is cool. But I'm missing some of the like really fun, intricate production design behind the scenes that we've gotten in previous seasons. And I would just really like to learn. I mean, we got the Savas board and we've gotten some of it. I just want to know all about Ormond's portable incense burners. Okay. I love this. It's a camera reveal too. It's not just a plot reveal, but a camera reveal. So that's a great direction. And then I just want to like, we talked about this on Talk of Thrones, but there's multiple references inside of this conversation of like last time we talked. So this has been an ongoing seduction.
How long? How many conversations?
It helps explain, we got a lot of emails, people asking like, how is Gawain able to just sort of like go in and like, how are people able to go in and out? How is Bold John Roxton able to get Corlys in there? Mm-hmm. Well, if they did it while Ulf was on shift, then like they could come and go as they please.
Right.
But I think what's really fun is to go back to the previous episode and reframe the conversation that Ulf is having with Hugh when Hugh comes to relieve him, right? Ulf says, but we're not the same, are we? So what he says here when he's talking to Hugh really feels like he's regurgitating talking points from that Ormond has been feeding him, right? So he says, we're not the same, are we? We weren't in service back then at the beck and call of the queen sleeping on a hill. And then he goes, sleeping on a hill, ellipses, alone.
Alone.
I was definitely alone. There wasn't anyone here. She stopped me from going to the tavern, Hugh. Not one ale with the lads. What's the point in having a dragon if no one's around to see it? Okay? So like, I'm all alone. I've been here alone. Don't worry about it. And then Hugh says, well, would you go back to where you were, scrabbling in the dust? And Ulf goes, no.
Right.
Because he already knows that that's not the only alternative.
Yeah.
And he goes, And then Ulf says, though I can't say my life has been approved, can you? So like, how much is Ormond been saying, hey, can you can recruit your other guy?
Right. Oh, yeah.
There's more in it for you if you can get Hugh in on this as well, right? Though I can't say my life has been improved. Can you? Mm-hmm. Right then. See you in 2 days, Sir Hugh. Come on, Gail. So like this idea that like Ormond has been giving Hugh talking points.
Yeah.
Ormond isn't giving Ulf talking points.
Yeah.
Ulf has been just like pretending that he's on boring Tumbleton watching duty when we don't know how long he's been sort of convinced he's getting honey holt, merely a trifle.
Another insult to House Beesbury. Unbelievable.
He offers some Driftmark.
Yeah.
We got this great
Lord
email.
of the Tides.
We got a great email from a listener, Michael. And first of all, like, of course, Ormond does not want Ulf at Honeyhold. That's way too close. That's in the reach.
Sure.
He doesn't want him there. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
Here's what Michael says. What we know about Ulf is he's had it hard and that he'd ideally like it easy from here on out. Ormond probably had his allegiance just for bringing good ale. In Honeyhold, he'd be able to guzzle down the finest wines in the reach and probably make the best meat on the planet thanks to all the bees. The weather would be lovely. He'd never want for anything. He'd be far away from any King's Landing drama. Just fly around on his dragon, see how many children, legitimate and illegitimate, he can make. Living easy, loving free. Season ticket on a one-way ride. Asking nothing, leave him be. Taking everything in his stride. Meanwhile, on Driftmark,
Yeah.
He'd be experiencing a permanent shiver from the cold, wet climate. He'd probably die from the flu in short order. He'd have to care about boats and shipping lanes and balance sheets and fighting a whole bunch of wars. Kroos got rich because he was great at that stuff. Ulf isn't. He wants none of that. Wine, women, and coin would suit him just fine. Ulf wants a retirement plan somewhere sunny and warm, and Ormond's offering him a high-stress job somewhere frigid and damp.
And it's a rebuild. A lot of fire damage from the Triarchy attack.
Absolutely not.
Classic.
Honey
Well,
Holt all the way.
this just shows you that Ulf, while a striver, not a ball knower. That's just true. And
No,
sad.
he's like, ooh, a title.
Yeah, exactly. I can't live in a title, but I can live in a castle. This scene was great and such a satisfying payoff for kind of all of the component parts, all the characters, everything that Daemon and Rhaenyra have done all season that we've been like, are you giving your people what they need and what they want?
I don't think we've been too subtle about, like, we knew this turn was coming from Ulf, so, like...
But, I mean, this exact scene is like, this is a surprising way to get it.
This is a different... No, this is a different way to get it. But I feel like we've just been very much like, I wouldn't treat Ulf that way if I were you.
Yeah.
Because we know that Ulf switches teams.
You know, like we talked about on Sunday, the fact that Ormond got to witness Daemon mocking the castle longing specifically, and then all of these other things along the way, right?
Yeah, you
the
know
name, the belly, the lads, the pub, the way that Ulf thinking about something now, like his exchange with Rhaenyra and the graffiti sequence, like unkind, you know, that their queen has been unkind when presented with this performative, false, utilitarian kindness, but kindness from Ormond, and it, you know, on the not just like PR front, but savviness front. Like we heard Ormond last episode say, the common man is as a rule of no interest or concern, but you must never trust one who's clawed his way to power, whose ambition is oft fueled by some lack, some shame or lust or rage. Now, of course, that's colored by what we know he's been doing with Ulf after this episode, but also it's like, no surprise, one more insight into Ormond's elitist views, right? He has no interest in fraternizing with a commoner like Ulf.
No.
But he's able to
suck it up and do it.
Hold his nose, incense and Pomander aided in other ways. And not only that, but to use the specific, like he's not just working Ulf and recruiting him and giving him, he's doing it by saying to him, ludicrous. A man needs his sustenance and cheer. The exact language that Ulf used to say, this is what I want. Why won't you just give it to me?
In the very same episode where Rhaenyra, in potentially getting Rhaena and Sheepstealer on her team, just sort of like completely fucks that up. Here's Ormond being like, how can I add dragons to my side?
I understand who you really are. They will laugh at you no more when they see who you are. No, they will burn. Dragon Math update?
Yeah.
All right, take us through Team Green.
Vhagar, somewhere in the Riverlands.
Not with Aemond.
Not with Aemond.
Yeah. But regionally proximate.
Sunfire.
Back.
Alive.
Back, baby.
In the Crownlands, back with Aegon. Dreamfire. Beautiful in King's Landing. Helena's not flying. So still not on the board, I would say.
Right.
And then Tessarian in Tumbleton with Darren. Change.
So the numbers are up, but they're fractured still. They're not in the same place.
Correct.
Aemond and Aegon still are not on the same side.
But this is way up from where we've been.
Sunfire being back is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Team Black. Caraxes with Daemon.
Yep.
Seemed okay after the skirmish. Vermithor with Hugh, bouncing between King's Landing and Tumbleton. Syrax back in King's Landing, healing from injuries suffered in this episode. Sea Smoke in King's Landing with Adam Patrol, tiny bit injured, but not as badly as Syrax. Moondancer, same thing in King's Landing or Adam Patrol with Bela. And then Tyraxes is Joff's dragon, is in the mix, but too small to fight. Not a factor right now. Watch this space. Silverwing and Ulf.
I would put it on Team Green, but I support your optimism.
You know, he seems like Ormond's done a very effective job of recruiting him. Undeclared. Sheepstealer, healing, and separated from Zrider.
Not able to fly.
Not able to fly. Injured badly. Cannibal and Grey Ghost, Dragonstone, Wild Dragons, not claimed, not relevant, but flying around out there. And then dead. Arax, Melees, Vermax. Stormcloud, haven't heard a peep in
Arax, Melees, Vermax, all Team Black, dead. Team Black,
Stuff.
Not recruiting Sheepstealer in this episode. Team Black, I would say, losing Silverwing in this episode, and Team Green gaining Silverwing and Sunfire in this episode. So in terms of like the balance, and then the major injury done to Team Black. So in terms of like, we started the season with Team Black way in the lead, and in this episode, the scales completely tipped.
It's a real mismanagement of resources.
I would say.
Book spoilers?
Let's do it.
Book spoilers.
Can
You don't want to hear this, leave.
Can I hit something from last week?
Let's do it.
We should mention that in the book, reportedly after the death of Aemond, Alys has a dragon in Harrenhal. Like,
yes,
is
whispers.
Whispers,
Yeah. Mhm.
spotted,
Yeah.
claims of a dragon in Harrenhal.
Mhm.
So, like,
Smoke monster.
no, I'm just saying, like, the dragon eggs.
But then what?
I don't know.
A dragon lost to history from there?
Maybe.
Dies?
Maybe.
Killed?
Maybe it goes to Yeti. Who knows?
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Oh, maybe her son with Aemond
Yeah.
is hatched a dragon in the cradle,
Mm-hmm.
reared it, and is going to go off to Yeti or something. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just a whisper and it's not true.
Well, yes, but I'm just saying the fact that she had a dragon, everyone was like, "What do you mean she has a dragon?
Yeah.
Where did it come from?" And the show is like, "Hey, there's a clutch of
Bunch of
eggs
eggs.
at
Yeah.
Harrenhal."
Dreamy. Dreamy!
Something to think about.
Helaena. Feels like we're going to be saying goodbye in the finale.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it feels based on Olivia Cook saying close the windows and like the idea that Helaena dies perhaps while Alicent is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way that Alicent won't blame Rhaenyra for that, even if no one does anything except,
Right.
Helaena takes a step out the window.
Yeah.
But also, like, Helaena dies when Aemond and Daemon. There is a version of this where she could live until the next season. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying she could.
She could. Yeah, she could. That'd be. I mean, I've enjoyed my time with her,
I
so
know.
that would be nice. I'm
She is
not ready to
fantastic.
say goodbye. Are you reading the Dracarys storming of the pit Dreamfire sequence most of all? Are you reading like I won't partake in that, and so I will remove myself from the situation entirely as part of what is happening here?
I thought it was interesting. We got an email from our listener, Emily, who says this idea that, like, it's sort of death no matter what path is chosen is sort of like what Helena's seeing here, an idea, right? Dream 1, it foreshadows Helena's death. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the exact area where she lands after jumping or falling.
Mhm.
So, like, that courtyard with the pale horse, if that is where,
Right.
and that's an exit of sorts, a freedom of sorts. She's no longer confined. Horrible. Dream 2, it represents the fate of her unborn child, Mallory, if you believe that. The baby is immediately taken away, doomed from its very first breath. Dream 3, it foreshadows the death of the dragons with the small folk storming the dragon pit and killing them. And Dream 4, it shows the coming of winter and what comes with it, the long night and the eventual fate of Westeros. The white horse there makes me think it represents Helaena and her twins. More importantly, it tells her that these events will take place long after her own death and after the fall of the Targaryens, her family. Time is running short for Helaena, but at least she seemed to find some peace in the afterlife. But death,
sure.
all down the board
Yeah.
here. And I do like this interpretation that some people are floating, this idea that, like, what Helaena foresees is that if let's say she runs away with Jaehaera
Mhm.
and Malor, if that's what you believe is in the vision, or
Yeah.
Jaehaerys, if it's whatever. If she gets to be on a chicken farm with her babies,
Yeah.
does that mean that Westeros loses
Right.
the long night, the battle with
Right.
the Night King? Is that something she's seeing?
Right.
Right.
Or even the idea that those are, Aegon's heirs, and so it's like in some camps positioning of the war, they're the ones responsible for turning around and challenging and protecting the realm from that fight. I thought that the gray mare, like the pale horse, there's the Dany comp with the pale mare and the bloody flux and the plague. Like, part of what's coming in the story is
a literal winter.
A literal winter, and also the plague, the winter fever.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the near-term death, not only of the dragon war, but of the sickness and just the decimation across Westeros and the immediate horizon.
And
then obviously
Pale
the
Horse,
larger
Pale
threat.
Rider being this idea of death that they already used in Game of Thrones with
Yes,
Arya, et cetera.
They
et
did.
cetera.
That was a pretty shot in a
It was.
baffling episode.
Correct.
I like that we got to see Dreamfire before the storming of the pit, so that we have
know.
some visual recognition, given how tragic Dreamfire's death in particular is in that sequence.
I had been debating with Jomi whether or not we would see Dreamfire, and Jomi was like, we have to because of the storming of the dragon pit. But I was just like, I don't know, like, how they're going to do the storming of the dragon pit in terms of, like,
I know.
Are the dragons that are in the text that are main characters of that
Right.
going to be the actual dragons that are the main characters of that? But this Dreamfire design is so distinctive and cool
Right.
that if they even show her to us like 2 more times,
Yeah.
and then the storming of the dragon pit happens,
Yeah.
then
Because there is a difference just in terms of like Jaehaera and Jaehaerys' dragons being eggs in the show versus hatchlings and stuff like that. So that they really kind of need us to care about Dreamfire. It's obviously horrific no matter what. And it's the proximity of
are there
everything with
other
Cyrax,
dragons
like
that we could care? I don't know. I don't know.
It did feel like a promise that we're getting the storming of the pit, though. Not that there was ever any doubt, but this was a real like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Get ready. Buckle up. Where are you on Sylvie as the shepherd?
Up after this episode,
Yeah.
stop climbing,
Yeah.
or at least like involved in that movement.
Definitely, right? It feels, I can't remember which episode we got a bad baby. Or no, we were talking about another theory and you threw out Sylvie. I can't remember, honestly.
It was when
I liked it a lot in real time,
it was
and now
like
it's like,
Kristen, Ormond, Alicent, and yes, someone
and I was very much
in
like,
this
it's gotta
podcast
be a
was like,
small folk.
Sylvie.
Remember the
Yeah.
small folk? And then I think you said Sylvie, and I was like, hell yeah. Anyway, this seems right.
Yeah.
I feel like this seems right.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time for new candidates.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be a new person that is introduced
And
in
using
next
Sylvie
season.
as like a lieutenant.
Or, yeah. Does it matter? I mean, does it matter if the person is a male? Does it matter if the
Right.
person is missing a hand?
It's funny. So I was like, given the tension that immediately surfaced between Sylvie and
Mysaria gonna take
Mysaria,
her hand?
they're around all they had just drawn attention to the blades of the throne, the
Oh.
cocks come out. I was like,
She's gonna take her hand
is
right
she
now.
going to take her hand? And then it would have been confirmed. So that would have been fun. On the winter front, from World of Ice and Fire, a terrible hard winter, first declared by the Conclave in Old Town in 130 AC on Maiden's Day, had taken firm grip on the realm and would last for 6 cruel years. So this is going to be bad. It's going to be a bad one. I'm excited for a snowy season 6 or 4, whatever the fuck season we're on. Okay, so Sunfire and Aegon. I guess the Dragonstone, waiting at Dragonstone Park can still be a secret and a twist.
If he flies off in the finale
Yeah.
on Sunfire's back
Yeah.
and then is like missing for a few episodes, and then she rolls up to Dragonstone and he's like, surprise, motherfucker. I just don't know what Laris is up to.
I guess going back to King's Landing.
Guess.
But
and he's like, remember how I gave you Otto?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's interesting. And it's also like,
We did get an email
he
from
didn't sing songs about
Nope.
Aegon because nobody knew he was at Rook's Rest. So that's funny.
We did get an email from a listener, Mickey, who said, is Corlys being set up as the big Team Black betrayal at Dragonstone at Rhaenyra's big moment?
That's interesting.
I thought that was interesting.
I
And I was
mean-
wondering if Corlys being captured makes Rhaenyra suspect him.
Yeah.
Like he's there at Tumbleton and he could say, they captured me, but she's suspicious
Well,
of
that would be
anything.
great because the paranoia, especially if that's entwined with
Adam.
that
Mhm.
feels really
Mhm.
right. I don't
I was
like.
just like, why is he there?
Yeah,
There has to be a reason.
I don't know that like bringing back Alfred Broom or Celtigar to do the
Yes.
Dragonstone thing has nearly the effect of someone we're
If
more
Corlys were to
attached
do
to.
it.
So that's an interesting idea.
Yeah. And Corlys seemed to take note of Darren. You know what I mean? Like,
He clocked that exchange with interest, and we
Yeah.
lingered on his face.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
yeah.
Um,
So if he's like Team Green, they have some points.
yeah, and one of them's not a total maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously Corlys's shifting, relationship to Team Black is like a big part of the story to come. So the fact that the show's clearly going to do it a little bit differently, but maybe not completely differently, is interesting. On the tapestry front, so Helaena, one of the things that she says to Aemond is she's not just talking about Aemond's future. She brings up Aegon's wooden throne.
Mhm.
To me, now does she see clearly enough to stitch onto the tapestry Rhaenyra's fate in a way Rhaenyra could pick up and see? I don't know. But she at least saw a post-Dragonstone showdown Aegon.
Mhm.
Does that mean she stitched Sunfire eating Rhaenyra onto the tapestry?
I mean, that's presuming that what she's stitching is actually possibly. And you think Rhaenyra is going to find it and be like, what's all this then?
I don't know. Maybe.
What was on her needlepoint this week? It seemed like
I could not tell. I got to be honest.
burning
flames.
burning towers. So I
Yeah.
would say maybe Tumbleton.
Tumby.
Yeah.
Good old Tumby. Damon and Rhaena. Wait, actually, let's go back to Tumby for a sec. Ulf and Hugh. Is Ulf are we gonna see?
Still don't know.
Is he gonna swing him It
I
seems
still
from the
don't
trailer
know.
like a very big battles there. Some things are different. Like Daemon, obviously from the trailer for the season, but also this episode, he's there. He's on horseback sometimes, but Caraxes is there. That's different.
Yeah.
Is Tessarion gonna come out and fight?
Mm.
When does Hugh turn? Is
Yeah.
that because of Cat on the ground or Ulf?
I mean,
or
Cat on the
both?
ground has to be a part of it.
Has to be.
But I don't know that I fully understand.
Yeah.
I don't see the vision exactly yet of how Hugh is going to turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that Ulf has been working on him on behalf of Ormond.
Yeah. Certainly incepting him.
But yeah.
Okay. Daemon and Rhaena. Are they going to go hunt for Vhagar together?
I like this idea.
Like pre-God's Eye still? Is this a version of this going to happen? Introducing the Mutants. Like, I don't know if we're going to get they go hang out at the Mutants and then there's like a kill.
Maybe they'll go back.
Kill
I mean,
order,
I would like
and then
to
that swings the Mutants to the
I would like to
green?
retract my critique of building of Jane Eyre's
Kind of
hall because they've been using that
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
So if they make it still the Veil for some reason, you know what I mean? We could just keep using. I mean, Jane Eyre's great. The dogs are great. Jessamine
Love those
Redford's
dogs.
great. That
Yeah.
set is great. So if they're just at the Veil instead, like
Yeah.
that could be, and Jane Eyre's like, I guess I'll still hide you. I don't know why she would have her mind change.
When do you think God's Eye is going to be?
Near the end of season 4.
Really?
Like 6 maybe at the earliest, I would say. You think it's gonna be earlier?
Yeah. As painful as it'll be to say goodbye to Matt Smith.
Think about how long they held on to Kristen Cole this season.
I know, but they have so much to do. Even if we're obviously getting first Tumbleton, even if we also get Helaena, I mean, we have.
So God's Eye is where Aemond and Daemon die, right?
Or does Daemon die?
Question. If only one character gets to survive,
It should be Daemon.
it should be Darren. If
Oh,
one
sure.
character who's
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
die
yes.
survives,
Yeah, that would be great.
it's darling Darren.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, it's entirely plausible given the
with
accounts.
his red
Yeah.
hair. Okay.
Yeah.
So like he's got to make it. So I will lose fucking Daemon Targaryen if it means
Damn.
Darren can survive.
Wow.
Our listener Greg wrote in to say, I noticed a small detail in season 3, episode 7 that counts as a spoiler for future events.
Yeah.
During the sheep stealer fight, Daemon wasn't strapped in on
Mhm.
Caraxes' back. He was able to be thrown off. I had to imagine they were thinking about the battle above the God's Eye. When they made that choice, I had flashes in my eyes of Matt Smith leaping from dragon to dragon, wielding Dark Sister, because he's not impeded by a pesky dragon seatbelt.
I like it. I thought the lengths they went through at the beginning of the season 2 at Gullet to show us Jace strapped in, like
Mhm.
really thinking
Oh,
about
yeah.
the way they used
We were
to
talking about that.
saddles.
Yeah.
Thailand. A lot of just comments about how he's going to be tortured. His ears are going to be sliced. It was a very specific portrait of his future torment, which I enjoyed. What else? Let's see. Are we going to do the Tormund Manderley, the Celtigar tax? Is it happening? The cunt and cock tax? It came up again.
You just want to say it.
The cunt tax?
You just want to say it as
So
much as
good.
possible.
It's so funny. Great stuff. Sabitha is in the book. She does take Harrenhal for 3 days, and then she has to hide in the privy.
Yeah.
Tough one. So I guess the freeze will go to Harrenhal.
I guess so. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that will happen at the beginning of season 4. Like, I just think there's a lot of shit that they can do to draw out the Aemond and Daemon thing.
Yeah, they can draw that out. It's more about how much has to happen after. But I guess they can move some things around.
Tell me all the things that you feel like that need to happen after God's Eye.
Well, everything with the shepherd obviously needs to be paced so that we build toward storming of the pit. We build toward Cyrax. At some point, it would be helpful if Joffrey spoke, assuming that the Joffrey Cyrax thing is going to happen in that fashion, which I feel like is pretty important given the dragon control element of the story.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a lot of questions about Alicent, actually. We have to get second Tumbleton. We have to have the whole Caltrop plot.
Does that have to happen after Aemond and Daemon die?
Not necessarily.
Second Tumby,
We have
I
to
could
get
see.
Dragonstone, obviously. We have
Yeah.
to get the
But that can happen, like, if it's 6, if he dies in 6,
Yeah.
like, and 7 and 8 is mostly just sort of like, Daemon's gone, what is Rhaenyra going to do?
Right.
Cyrax is gone, Daemon's gone, what is
Yes.
Rhaenyra going to do?
And then we
And
get
that's 7 and 8.
Rhaenyra,
Yeah.
Aegon.
And everything else is sort of shifted before God's Eye. I could see that happening. Just to keep
Yeah.
Daemon Targaryen in the plot. They're putting him he's just all over everything.
I mean,
He's at Tumbleton.
He has
But the
lead
fish feed-
billing on the show.
I know.
So, yeah. I'm not eager to say goodbye to Daemon Targaryen.
No,
let
nor
me
am
say
I.
that.
I just, I think they're going to stretch it out. I
Yeah.
think they will happily reshuffle whatever they need to reshuffle to keep Daemon Targaryen on the show. We
There's
thought
also-
Butcher's Ball was going to be like episode 2 of this season.
I know.
And they're like, let's keep Fabian
Yeah.
around until episode 6. So.
That was a mistake, though. But it wouldn't be a mistake to keep Daemon around, I don't think. Anything else from the book spoilers?
I mean, I'm just excited for Alys to be like obviously pregnant.
Same. With
you
a
know?
smoke baby. That'd be great.
Maybe.
Obviously, there's an actual child standing next to her in fire and blood
Yeah.
at one point, but maybe he's smoky, and then the longer he's around, he takes more,
Shape.
corporeal
Coalesces.
form.
Yeah, corporeal form. Great.
Could happen. All right, that's a wrap. Please join us as a reminder live for the Talk the Thrones finale on Sunday night after the episode of House of the Dragon. We'll be with CR. We're excited for that. And then we'll be back next week for our deep dive and hopefully a surprise or two. Thank you to our squad today. Carlos, Chiriboga,
A hero who still now has to edit
I
all of
know,
this.
legend,
We've been at this for hours.
Prince, Scott Lee, Jacob Cornett, Arjuna Ramgopowell, and Jomi Adeniran. We will see you in a couple days for the Odyssey Mailbag and Nolan Power Ranking.
Mhm.
And then on Sunday live for Talk the Thrones. Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.
What if we just plucked that hair?
I asked Carlos earlier if anyone had tweezers.
I do.
You want to just pull it out?
I kind of want to just do it with my fingers. It's this one, right?
I mean, whichever one is doing the
Okay, are you ready?
Did it come out?
Yeah.
Glad you guys have that on camera.
And now I have your hair for spells.